Hello, hello. Welcome to week 4 of Scrims Zone Season 10. We are here today for One Thief versus Big Bananas. And I'm casting with Grewer, which I'm very excited about.
Happy to be here. Should be a really fun one, Jacob. I'm really excited for this matchup.
Absolutely. Yeah, these two teams are both 2-1 in the standings, as you can see. And have definitely shown to be some of the more. I mean, every team has been fun, but like these guys definitely have a lot of very exciting and close series. And so I'm definitely excited to see their head-to-head finally.
Yeah, as you said, both teams 2-1, so tied for second place right now. It's kind of an opportunity for one of these teams to kind of cement themselves a little bit above on this tier list of teams, and a little bit above as we're heading towards playoffs. Because eventually, as you're well aware, top six makes playoffs. Top four start on that upper side. So it's a really big deal if you make that top four, because then that gives you the ability to lose a game in the playoffs. Whereas if you start that bottom 5 or 6 spot, you're one and done. So pretty important series, even though we're only on week number 4 here.
Sure. Yeah, since it's here, I might as well shout out the MVP standings. From these teams, Jonah and Beaton each have an MVP, and then Mason or Jar has one also. So definitely keep an eye out on those players. Speaking of, we can check out some of the champions to watch. And we definitely have a mix of some newer players and some definitely a lot more established players here. So definitely a variety in sort of, for example, the Udyr, very famously, you look at a lot of
Probably
games.
will be banned.
Yeah, a
Probably
lot of
will be
games,
banned.
probably
Yeah.
10 times more bans than picks lifetime, if
Yeah.
not more. But champions like Sarv, Syndra, Jonah, Siobhan is still up there. Will Twitch, definitely champions. Actually, have we been seeing this Shyvana band? I feel like that's more of like a not a legacy, but
It's a little bit more of a legacy pick. I know Jonah was playing it a lot when the season he got MVP back in, I
yes,
think it was
sir.
season 5 or season 4. He did pull it out a fair amount on the season he was on Andromeda and ended up winning on my team. He played it some, but I don't believe I've seen him play it in a while. I would love to see him pick it if the angle was there. I think if he could ever get away with, playing a little bit more of a scaling champion, I still think he could make it work. He's very, very good at that champion. I'm also really curious to see what happens with Smolder. You see right there, Dave 4-1 with an insanely good KDA. The Smolder champion has tore up this season so
Yes, he
far. It
has.
has lost, but it's won way more than it's lost. Dave, I believe himself, is undefeated on it. I don't believe I've ever seen Will play the champion, so I don't believe it's like a steal away option. So I'm going to be really curious to see, does a Smolder ban come through in this first game?
Let me check that stat actually, because I feel like he might have played it at some point, but he has 5 games on it. It has not gone the best ever. So yeah, it looks like it is not probably something we're looking to contest, but
I'd be
been
concerned that if you leave it open, that with how good it's looked for One Thief, that Dave
right.
may just be willing to first pick it. Critically, Big Bananas had side selection for game 1 of this series, and they opted to go for the red side.
Mm-hmm.
So they're valuing most likely either giving Nishan or Taxi that counter pick, but that does leave open, the first pick opportunities for One Thief. What champions will they consider to first pick? I wouldn't be surprised if they went for something like the Smolder. Yesterday, you saw Sarverse is always willing to just blind pick his Syndra.
But yeah,
Something like that could come through again. Um, Kamazots has really favored this Ornn pick. Maybe even something like that he'd be willing to first pick. I'm not sure. But if Smolder or Syndra are left open, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we don't see one of those just get grabbed up immediately.
mm-hmm. In terms of bans, I think we have seen people banning the Melio against Eden. Eden did end up getting it game 3, I believe, of the last series. I'm not sure how that went, but it was banned most of those other games. And then I feel like I'm dancing around the fact that we will almost certainly see a Twitch and an Udyr ban.
Yeah, Twitch and Udyr almost feel mandatory when you're playing against Big Bananas. Teams have not been willing to give them those champions. I will also say Will has performed extremely well on the Yunara pick so far this season. One of the better Yunara players so far. So I'll be curious to see if he, is allowed to play that. And if so, what is Dave's answer? Taxi has a pretty wide champion pool. I don't think there's you see the Zoe right there. with like really great statistics. But to me, Zoe's not like a you can just pick it always kind of champion. I think it fits specific spots. So I wouldn't expect to see a Zoe ban come out in the first phase. And I expect Taxi will kind of just pick from his wide champion pool. He's already shown a game of Zoe this season. He's shown some control mages in the Orianna and the Syndra. He's also even played some AD picks like the Jace. So with Taxi, he's a really flexible player that can kind of just draft for his team. And so that typically means they end up holding his pick until the later phase.
Yeah. And so I definitely expect, probably not bans in that first phase, but almost certainly we will see him based on what Cerberus blind. And
yeah,
then,
I'm curious. Sorry, go ahead.
For One Thief bans, I think it's a bit more of like a mixed situation. We definitely seen that Ornn be picked a lot, but I think we're almost certainly going to see a Smolder, and then I think potentially we can see the Neela coming down, but beyond that, I think there's a lot of flexibility in the rest of the team. I'm not sure if you have any insight.
Yeah, I would expect to see a Zilean ban because Bean has been playing that champion extremely well. I think it pairs up with kind of the natural scaling approach that One Thief likes to take. And, frankly, based on Eden's champion pool, I don't believe, Eden really plays champions that are, going to be able to really punish a Zilean in lane. So, maybe you could say, well, we could go for like a scale for scale. You get Zilean, we get Milio or Sona. But I think Zilean's typically happy in those spots. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if we don't see a Zilean ban against One Thief here. Also, the Ornn has been given to Camazotz a lot. I'm curious to see if a team is ever going to choose to actually just ban it away and, say, what's your next pick? As long as the Ornn's open, Camazotz most likely will, and I think should continue to pick it. He's very good at the champion. And I think so far, teams have identified that, maybe even though, he's really good at Ornn, we need to ban what, some people consider like the better players, or at least the higher rank players in Cerberus and Dave. So I'll be curious to see, if the Ornn stay open for him. But we are getting into draft now, as I believe the stream can see, and there's the first Udyr ban and Smolder, which I think are expected.
Yeah, I know that
Silas.
Jonah has occasionally been a proponent of giving Mason the Udyr into playing something like a Lilia. That's definitely gone better and worse for him across time, but like here, they've just decided to pin it down.
Yeah, so there is the Ornn ban, though, which is really interesting to me. I'm excited to see, what is that pick going to be. Mundo's definitely a jungle ban targeted at Mason here, as well as, I assume, the Silas. So with the Silas ban, it makes me curious, what are they wanting to first pick? Typically, I think the biggest thing that Silas has been countering so far this season has been the Amumu. But Twitch was left open.
Yeah.
Are they going to give this to Will, or are they going to... They're willing to give it to Will, interestingly enough.
Volibear has been a champion that we've seen BB pick against the series against Metabusters. They picked it both for Nishan and for Mason. And so
yeah,
I think
Mason's an extremely good Volibear player. Yeah. I think the steal away is really intelligent. And Jonah is also an extremely good Volibear player. The season that Jonah won on Andromeda, I think, Volibear was his most consistent, most played champion in the playoffs. That's going to be a jungle echo pick for Mason, which I'll talk about it more once we're out of draft, but I really like that for him. And then we see the Twitch for Will, which, anytime a player gets their namesake champion, it's just always going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a good match.
But what is Dave's answer going to be into the Twitch? Because obviously they knew if they left it open, Will was going to take it. So, I'm curious to see what is the planned answer.
And yeah, the Yunara does make sense.
Yeah.
Champion is pretty strong, I think, especially in team play where you can protect her. Yunara is pretty strong with a pretty good variety of supports.
Yeah, so, I think Yunara can play with anything, to be honest.
Okay, yeah, Braum makes sense.
Blind pick and Braum support. Braum is a very good pick at a Twitch.
I think Eden's champ pool is pretty good into Braum, though, to be honest.
Yeah, Eden's champ pool is great into Braum. Definitely. So I think both bot lanes are probably happy with what they've gotten here. But I think you've given, BB maybe their two most comfortable champions.
Mm-hmm.
And we see Syndra ban, really quick ban second phase. These teams knew what they were doing.
Yes.
Syndra, ASOL, both going to come out. This is just going to give Taxi the opportunity to blind pick his mid laner. Must feel like that if he takes the Lux, with these two champions gone, that Cerberus doesn't have an amazing answer left. And I like the fact that they're giving Nishan the counter pick. Nishan has been an extremely good player so far this season, particularly on those high skill, high mechanical champions that can really take over a lane. So I think giving them the last pick makes a lot of sense.
We're thinking about it. Okay. Looks like. it's locked in.
For Sarverus, answers into Lux, typically you want to go something that's like hard diving onto Lux or something that can actually match the range. With Acel being banned, with Syndra being banned, I would expect, we're probably looking at more of that dive opportunity for Sarverus here. But, mid pool is pretty pinched at this point with a few of the picks gone that I would, see him leaning towards.
Right. Yeah, I think it was a pretty good draft from BB in terms of enabling that while pinching it. We are locking in the Scion here, so it looks like it is going to be the Volibear in the jungle, unless Joan is on some Scion jungle meta that I'm not aware of.
No, that's definitely going to be a Camazotz Scion top, I do believe. So this mid pick to round out the draft, I think you definitely need damage, though. I mean, Volibear can do damage, but you don't want your soul, like, hyper damage to be just the Yunara, because it's going to be too easy for Mason to dive on Yunara and, kind of create space. No pick is locked in. We'll see what they say in chat or discussion somewhere. Clearly, they were not too sure on what they wanted to pick because, they ran down that full timer. It is going to be a Kale, actually. So they chose to go with Kale. And Set. I think Set is honestly, I think Nishan's shown a very wide champion pool, so I'm like hesitant to say it's Nishan's best champion, but it's definitely like going into the season. Well, what was, to my understanding, Nishan's most comfortable champion, one of his better champions, and I think he's ended up in a really good matchup for it. So I think BB got comfort across the board, but at the same time, I think One Thief's got a draft that they should be very happy with.
Yeah, absolutely. We can go ahead and move to the pass form.
Wow, you're fast with that.
Oh yeah, I was typing it in while we were drafting. See, I have these other
you
casters.
You are the casting ghost. Let's see. What do we see here?
Right, so champ matchups. It looks like we've never had Scion versus Set. And then so we've only had one of every matchup except for Melio Max and Melio Braum. Looks like very high KDAs on both sides and pretty even matchups. Not a ton.
Are you online to get invited to the lobby?
Oh, oops. Well, so I was looking at their calls as admin abuse here. Will is not in Big Banana's calls. I don't know exactly what's happening there. Load of admin abuse right here. I am opening client though. And then I don't know why it's in this weird order. I guess we can look at the head-to-head matchups real quick. So between Sarv and Taxi, Taxi is up 4-2 with a slightly better KDA. Can I mute my client so it doesn't? Okay. But it's definitely a pretty contested matchup between these two with both having good performances.
Yep, key player for One Thief. We're highlighting Dave here. Had a really good season so far. I thought Dave, last season played really well. I thought their team was a little up and down, but I thought Dave was definitely the most consistent player. And it feels like this season, he really has a roster that's like built around maximizing his like abilities. I think Bean is an extremely good support player. I think they've like already shown a ton of great synergy. Definitely one of, if not the strongest, like just bot lane duos. They're up there in that conversation, no doubt.
Oh, absolutely.
And Dave himself has just been playing immaculately. I'm excited to see him on the Yunara. I do prefer, just as a fan of the game, watching something like Yunara versus something like Smolder. It's definitely a little bit more of a high skill character. Seeing a lot of play right now, has potential to pop off. So that should be fun. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know how the Yunara Twitch matchup is supposed to go.
Yeah, I think that I think the Yunara is a pretty weak champion in lane, as is Twitch. Yunara just straight up does not have a passive until she has crit under her belt. And so I think it depends a lot on how these junglers play around these relatively weak lanes, but the players are all complaining about the custom lobbies, which thank you, Riot. Our other key player is Mason, and he has historically had been one of the most dominant players in history. of the server.
Oh, definitely one of the best players in the server. I mean, just always has been.
A bit recently has been a bit of feast or famine. When he carries, he really carries. But some games we've seen him struggle to get that first bit of leverage. So it'll be excited to see if he's able to find that purchase in this one.
Yeah, I do believe he's on, one of his better champions. Yeah. We saw right there, you had it up briefly, the past performance. 9 and 7 on the Echo, but I don't think that tells the full tale. Ever since last season, Mason has started playing this kind of bruiser Echo build. Where he found out about that, maybe I told him about it, who knows, but he has played it extremely well. I'm excited to see him pull out the pick. It allows him to be kind of a pseudo frontline, pseudo bruiser. He's really good at playing it to its limit, really maximizing the space he creates, the damage he puts out, and he's so slippery and so hard to actually kill on the champion. So I'm excited to see that. I'm curious for my own knowledge of looking and seeing what his Echo win rate is purely on that build.
Right. Well, I mean, it's not like you have much info about Echo in your head, Like,
yeah, I mean, like, to my knowledge, I don't even believe. Let's see.
Well, it's like, what do you know about Echo? About anyone on the server? Come on. While you're looking into that, I would just like to highlight Jonah is currently undefeated, 7-0 on the Volibear champion, with the absolutely insane 5.9 KDO over 7 games. Dave has that 2-game 11 KDA average Unara. Meanwhile, Will is on his definitely dominant Twitch pick. And beyond that, looks like Nishan has had a bit of a tough time on that set pick. I think it's something he's known for, so people tend to draft knowing that, which makes it a little tough.
So Jonah's 7-0 on the Volibear. I didn't realize he had that good of a performance on it. I definitely consider it to be one of his best champions. Mason, though, is 6-0 in his last 6 Echo games in the server, and every single one of those is going to be running this build. So I think it's a little bit stronger than the 9 and 7 shows here. So I mean, in my mind, we got 7-0 going up against 6-0 right now. Yeah, that's going to be a really exciting matchup for us. To discuss the mid matchup a little bit, Sarvers chose to go with the Kale here, and I think it makes sense. You already have Braum, you already have Scion. We mentioned that you need more consistent damage. He played the Kale to success in the past, as you see there with the 2-1 record. Specifically as an answer in Deluxe, I'm not 100% sure on how I like that. I think that if Taxi plays it correctly, should be able to generate an advantage in lane through, the range advantage, through the poke, should be able to get a farm lead. But so long as Sarverus can, farm enough to be relevant and to hit his item breakpoints and his level breakpoints, I mean, this is like a perfect composition to set up Kale. You've got a Braum, you've got a Volibear to set you up, and you have a Scion frontline. I really like what he has here. It'll really be on Mason and Nishan to threaten this Kale as we get into the later stages of the game.
Yeah, I think that we saw. So I really like both teams' compositions. Like I think they both crafted good comps. I think it might be a little tough for BB's team just to I think there are ways to get onto the back line, but I'm not sure that you can do that while keeping your backline protected. Like Melio isn't really doing a ton in a lot of these fights. Like there isn't a ton of like big CC that champion usually gets a lot of value from. And so I think that might be a bit tough to just like keep that Twitch alive to capitalize on his backline or frontline going for those dives.
I think that makes sense. Yeah.
We are so I heard that the draft delay is or the casting delay is gone. I don't know if that's real. I guess we'll have to see. They did load.
I believe it's shorter.
Okay.
Yeah, I will say I'm really excited. I don't know, like where should the most action occur early game? Probably bot lane, if anywhere. But really, all of these lanes, I think, are mostly going to farm out. Like I think if Sion misplays, there's probably like some angles for Set to like maybe look for a kill, but even with the advantage I think Lux can gain in lane, it really shouldn't result in kills onto Kayle, and I just struggle to see how either Yunara, Braum, or Twitch Milio can find 2v2 kills.
Yeah.
So it'll be really important to track where these junglers go, because both junglers do have very good ganks.
Yeah, and I think it's worth noting here the like beyond just like the compositions apps themselves, the utilization of Set as that last pick there. I'm not super familiar with top lane matchups. I think the Set definitely does well for the composition in terms of, you know, if you have a volley bear in your face, you can sort of, you know, backflip him out of there and get him away from your carries. But I assume he must think it's a pretty good top matchup. If he used that, you know, red last pick on it.
I mean, you know, what Set is going to allow them to do is it's going to make it a little bit more difficult for the Kayle and the Yunara composition to just play out their fights. Because, you know, typically with the comp that One Thief has, you'd say this is just an obvious, we front to back, we peel for Yunara and Kayle, you're not going to be able to kill us. With Set there, Kayle and Yunara have to make sure they're positioning in a way that if Set throws Sion back onto you, you're not just getting popped. And if you do misplay that and Nishan's able to find a really good ultimate onto either Sion or Volibear and throw them back onto the carries, and then you have Mason there to like follow up, there's a lot of potential to kind of turn what should have been a standard front to back into just like chaos. And what champion thrives in chaos? Echo, Twitch, Set. These champions that just want fights to get messy. So I think both sides have pretty clear angles on how they should and how they are going to try to play out the fights. And ultimately, with any like great game, I think it will just kind of come down to, you know, player skill in those moments more so than any sort of comp diff.
Mm-hmm. All right, so who are the more skilled players? I mean, I think this is definitely set up to a really good match. I think both teams played the draft really well for both their teams' individual strengths. And I think it's definitely going to be beyond just like a good match. I think it'll be an exciting match and a fun watch. So hopefully you guys are all excited at home.
Yeah, I will say Camazotz so far in the season has 4 games of Ornn and 1 game of Sion. So this will be his second game of Sion. So we have seen the Sion, and he is 1-0 on it in team format. Played it last week into face Trendemir. And, you know, did well. Their team won that game. But so not the Ornn, but still like what I guess he's shown as kind of his second pick there. Fills a similar niche as the Ornn does.
Beyond that, I'm kind of surprised that we haven't seen Bean on the Braum. It seems like something that he would play. Although I suppose he, you know, known for that Renata champion in these more disengaged type picks, but it definitely seems like something that he would. I think he'll put a show on.
Braum has not Braum, excuse me. I think Bean has a pretty interesting champion pool. Yeah, it is surprising this is literally his first time playing Braum. It's a pretty staple support champion, but as you just said, you know, I think Bean's most favored champs historically have been things like the Renata, like the Janna, the Zillion so far this season. He has a very good Rel. I mean, Bean has a pretty wide champ pool, so I'm not surprised he's going to pull out the Braum. But I don't know. I guess maybe they feel it's a really strong pairing with the Yunara because, as we've already discussed, it was a blind pick Braum. They chose to blind it for him, and it's not necessarily what I would consider like the greatest blind, but in the context of their draft, I think they can be happy with it.
Go ahead.
I do subscribe to Eden's skin theory that he discussed on draft yesterday. You know, best skins will win.
Oh, absolutely.
The Volibear skin is it's a very, very nice skin. Mason using a great Echo skin himself, though. That jungle matchup is definitely going to be close if we're just looking at skins. Runes, nothing too crazy. You'll note Mason has gone for the fleet footwork. That's the requirement when you go this Echo kind of bruiser build.
Looks like we do have a stacking invade here.
Pretty standard.
So might have some action.
Yeah, this is pretty dangerous here. If with where Mason is right now, he should be fine. But if he chooses to walk up,
okay, are gonna get that.
Oh,
flash.
And he started Q. He may be in trouble here. Okay.
And we do have vision on those raptors.
Yeah, is forced to burn the flash there. Definitely had to. If someone had started stacking that Braum passive, he probably could have died. Unfortunately, since he'd already leveled up the Q, couldn't start the E to kind of get away. Granted, you don't want to start E regardless because that'll really screw his first clear.
Oh my God, yeah.
But as you see, he's purchased the sweeper. We'll be able to sweep out that ward. Yes, they'll know that he's starting Raptors, but frankly, Echo's always going to start Raptors.
We're just fist fighting. And we know, one of these champions is known for fist fighting and one of those.
Yeah, Set is always going to be happy to just trade autos with you.
Oh, wait, I need to reorder the, why can't I, wait, how do I reorder the scoreboard?
I believe you open the scoreboard, then you drag them.
It's not. Okay,
or maybe you drag them on the top left or right?
In particular.
Okay, never mind. You got it. Really heavy trading coming out level 1. That's a massive damage onto the Twitch. Already have to blow the flash.
Wow.
Or excuse me, not the flash. Already have to blow Eden's heal.
God.
So a nice level 1 trade. That's the power of Braum. Wave pushing into them, so I think they should be fine.
We do have both junglers pathing in the same direction here, I think is worth noting. So we will almost certainly see some conflicts over that bot crab. Volibear is clear. It's going to be a lot faster than Echo's, though, due to that start with the Q on the Echo and Volibear just having a fast clear.
Oh, man.
Will getting traded on really heavy there, but Dave did step up under turret and took a shot, and so health is pretty equal at the end.
Yeah, still had the barrier there, so, kill was not going to come through, but just nice job by Bean tagging with the Q.
Oh, yeah.
Will didn't respect the level 2 and stayed a little too far up there. But a lot of trading out so far in the bot lane.
Volibear's a whole camp ahead of Echo here.
Yeah, the Volibear clear is a little bit faster than Echo. Echo's clear speed picks up exponentially once he has some ability power, but before that first item, his first clear is a little bit slow.
Looks like Mason might be just going for the Gromp into a pot. Yeah, I guess, I don't know, looking for nothing. I don't know, he's just letting it clear.
Oh, nice cancel by Nishan there. Gonna get some good damage down.
Oh, I don't even know. We got that classic.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Flash was actually necessary there. Cool, I think he had him on the edge, but why not confirm it? And that's a great first blood for Deshaun this game on the set. So well played to him.
Wave a little bit, but still definitely a very winning situation for that set.
Oh, and that's what you need to see. Anytime you're holding your R5 pick for a player, you really want them to grab a champion that has the ability to dominate the game. If you're giving them that last pick and, set in this spot, definitely can do it. And, finding just a clean solo kill first blood is definitely what BB was hoping for.
Absolutely. Looking...
junglers may meet here on that top crab.
Okay.
Jonas secures it with the smite, I believe.
Openers are walking down.
Oh, Mason went back in with the E there. I don't know about that. He doesn't have flash, if you recall. And yeah. But it's kind of just setting up the team here. Camazotz has flash. I expect he can get away.
Okay, Sign does have to flash out.
Okay, so ends up being 1-for-1. Mason was clearly, prepared to trade his life there. He chose to E back into them instead of away, and without his flash, that was going to be his life, but it's a kill on the Taxi, which, you're pretty happy about.
Yeah,
and Taxi TP's back and catches his wave.
It's sort of definitely, he had TP'd back into his heart. He needed to catch the wave, and so Taxi was able to get that roam off first. So we'll play it on that macro play, even if, there might have been some micro mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, Kale offers nothing pre-6 as far as like a skirmish goes. So yeah, that was always going to be a favorable play for the side of Big Bananas, and they recognized that and capitalized on it. If you look at Mason's positioning here, he's actually looking like they're going to try to set up a dive onto the Scion. Echo dives extremely well, although he's going to go now. And lives, I believe.
Camera thinks he lives.
Oh! It's so close!
So, the directed camera was like, what do you mean plays over?
Frankly, I thought they went a little too soon there because you know they didn't wait for the wave to get in, but with Nishan able to cancel out the Scion knockup again, that was all they needed, and just a really clean dive. There's another kill on the Nishan. He now has about a 20 CS lead in this matchup.
Yeah, and that does translate directly to like 900 gold advantage sitting in his pocket there at only 6 minutes.
And you know, Mason did an extremely good job all of last season of playing around top lane when he was playing with Lispy. Them diving top lane was a common occurrence, so it's nice to see him able to carry that over this season playing with Nishan.
So we do have looking at objectives. We do have Grub spawning in a minute and a half, and then Drake is up, and so looks like both junglers are looking in that direction. But with the bot push, looks like Volibear feels confident enough to at least get that before.
Yeah.
Echo does have, Echo does have the shoving Lux, and then Kale does have 6, but still quite a weak champion at this point. Mason might be stepping up a little far here.
Just be a little careful here. Taxi does have flash, so should be fine to get away. Oh, nice stun. Just some good damage
on Braum.
But Sarverus does have the level 6 and even the level 7 now.
Dead. Yeah.
Oh!
That was a really good binding find from Taxi.
Yeah, I mean, they just...
That solo kill,
another kill top. Yeah, around mid there, Mason found the stun onto Braum, chunked him out some. They kept tagging him as he tried to run away. Bean didn't feel that he was needed to flash, but the moment the root came through, it's too late. They were able to just finish off his health bar, and this is exactly what you want to see as far as the solo lanes are going for Big Bananas. Critically, to give One Thief some props, Dave has generated a pretty decent CS lead bot lane. Hasn't even based yet. This will actually be Dave's first base, so he'll be coming back pretty strong here.
Yeah, gold lead overall is already 2K up for Big Bananas, but I think a lot of that is, centered on the top side. So if one team is able to, focus a lot on getting this bot duo ahead and keeping that Kale in the game, definitely still, let's not pretend this game is anywhere close to over. There's still a lot of game left to play, but definitely a bit of a lead building here. We do see Jonah here on Grubs, and Mason is looking to contest. Smite does come down, and it is going to go to One Thief. Jonah picked up the Smite. Sean is running down, and Jonah is going to have to back off, which should secure Big Bananas with the other 2 Grubs.
Frankly, just getting one there is good for the side of One Thief. As you just mentioned, we'll see what happens bot lane first.
Bomb flashing in. Doesn't yet have R. Twitch is just kind of hitting Yunara, but is going to fall.
Yeah, just really nice job by being there, hiding in the bush, caught Twitch off guard, tried to flash away immediately, but it was not enough once the bomb passive tagged onto him. And you saw the power of the exhaust there. The exhaust really hurt Will's damage, and that's all they needed to win that. And that's what you needed for One Thief. Top side of the map is going extremely well for Big Bananas, as it should.
Right.
Because, they have the counter pick in the set. They got what they would consider, their preferred pick into the volley bin. So we expect top side to go well. So it's nice to see that the Yunara counter into the Twitch is also going well. And I think this is setting up for a really competitive game as we get into the mid and late game.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think that the you were talking about the objectives. I think the because two Grubs is the feat, and so it looks like along with this Drake that Mason's picking up here, that is giving them a pretty good lead on that front, especially with the first 3 kills feat that they got.
Correct.
And so that's definitely something we're gonna have to watch out for. Next objective should clinch it for Big Bananas, so it's up to One Thief to really keep that in mind.
Yeah, Sarverus is now, he first bought the Swifties, which is fairly common on Kale. With that extra movement speed, it makes Kale extremely hard built to hit with the skill shots of a champion like Lux, but also for champions like Echo and Set to even really ever try to dive you. So, Sarverus survived the early game, down 20 CS. That's kind of expected into the ranged matchup, and now it's kind of on him to continue to get farm and start to really look to scale. Good damage by Taxi, though. Ooh. Manages to sidestep that E. I think if you're the bot lane for Big Bananas at this point, you want to just really try to avoid any 2v2s. Oh, we got a 2v1 up top lane, though.
I think Set might just be able to...
Oh, chooses to R the... Oh.
Does he have W? No. Set should just fall here to Volibear. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, it goes 1 for 1, kills his laner, so we'll continue to kind of generate that CS. But they do get a nice shutdown onto the Volibear there, which, you know, Jonah looks like he's going for that little bit more of a carry Volibear build with most likely the Cosmic into eventually like Navori Quickblade. So anytime you get gold onto Volibear, it's really big.
You definitely think that was a well-timed gank from Jonah. Definitely really hard to stop him from killing anyone, especially with, you know, the use of that flash.
Nice ult by Beam.
This should just be a clean kill, and yeah, it's really hard with, you know, Braum ult and passives to get out of there.
Yeah, really good use of the Hex Flash. He came over the alcove wall and then just caught Will with the ultimate, and yeah, definitely kind of having their way right now in the bot lane matchup.
I believe Melio did press ult there too, and but you know, there's not very much you can do in that scenario. No. Just hitting third here, right in Sion's face. He's pulling Sion treatment on Sion.
I think Will is going to want to get, you know, the upgraded boots as quickly as he can. I think that extra bit of movement speed will help him out a lot. You know, chose to go for just the first item, but I think once he has the extra movement speed of the boots, maybe it'll make the lane a little bit easier.
We do have.
But they have chosen to rotate them.
Yes. Jonah is a little bit in no man's land there, but he's just going to be able to walk out. We do still have the Kale into the Twitch, but I think that I think this bot duo should be fine.
I don't hate it so long as Taxi does not get punished, but you know, that's
the
a really critical,
there.
super critical binding, or he actually probably would have went down there. I love that by Bean to just say, you're stepping up as a mage in a 1v2, I'm gonna flash on you. He ultimately does live, but that's exactly what you want to see out of Bean. He's always going to be happy trading his flash for the mid laner's flash.
Especially with
and
that
now we'll
flash.
see, can they punish Taxi while it's gone?
Which I haven't seen a ton of Brahms taking Hex Flash, so I think that's pretty interesting to see.
I've not seen Hex Flash. Definitely not too common on Braum, but he's already, you know, shown that he's gotten value out of it in this game.
Yeah, I definitely see now why the set was victim to Sion.
Volibear may go top here again, and we might have another gank.
Don't take aggro, Nishan. Don't do it.
Nishan really going up far here. Just takes the aggro.
Wait, this W is massive.
Oh, it is massive.
But Volibear here. Oh. You want to flashing for fun?
Very, very close. Had he not taken the aggro and taken a turret shot there, that might have actually been a trade, but... Uh-oh, now Dave is now alone.
Oh, he's able to get out with the E, though, I think. Wow.
Yeah, that movement speed just kind of ring around the rosy there with Mason and just kind of walks it out.
And hits him with the classic thumbs up.
You know, Nishan's continuing to play extremely aggressively. I don't hate it because I think, you know, his matchup allows it, but they need to do a better job of giving him vision. So he should see Volibear coming, you know, if he's going to play that aggressively, but they're not putting down the vision. He's actually opted to go for the sweeper already on the set. So if he's not buying control wards, there's a really big lack of vision.
We do have an engage going on to Yunara there. Without the rest of the team behind him, I'm not sure what the thinking was there. We do
Tylen's down here. I don't know if they know that he's going to be here, and you know, there's no TP on set.
And we do have a level
5v4,
but not even needed to get that pick there against Mason. And with the health values on the rest of the team, I don't think there's much Big Bananas can do except for walk away and, you know.
Yeah, they should just give this objective and collect the first turret top lane.
But we're just
but they are going to actually have Camazot's TP. But he does get the turret.
Yeah.
And with the turret, that is going to be feats of strength, and that is the upgraded boots for the side of Big Bananas. But I like that call to have Camazot's rotate directly to the dragon and then TP back to top lane. That really took Big Bananas by surprise, I believe, and they just, once they realized it was 4v5, it was already too late, because Bean again started off the fight with a really nice Braum ultimate.
Yeah. Yeah, I think probably a bit of a premature engage there for Mason, primarily because, like you said, we weren't aware of that Scion. Should just be able to take Herald here. None of us seen it on the map. So, you are getting a little bit of reward for the Dragon take, but...
yeah. Oh, you might be in a little bit of trouble here, Taxi. Is going to be able to just walk it out.
Yunar's slashing in to activate that Braum passive, and yeah... There's not much like could do there. That was really good on Bean finding that aggressive spacing, and then Dave just punishes.
I guess Braum does just shit on ranged champions if you're gonna hit everything.
Yeah,
I mean, really. Really nice game out of the bot lane of Dave and Bean so far. Yeah, that's an unfortunate death for Taxi. That's twice now he's disrespected the bot lane. This time he doesn't have flash, so he does go down.
I will note we do have Otacon spawning on the top side here in roughly 3 minutes. Definitely keep an eye out on that. But we do have both bot lanes here in the mid now. Sarver's definitely able to save and then hopefully knock it. But it's gonna walk out. A little bit of Aaron in the mid lane just for fun. A little bit of a treat. Nishan is rotating down to that bot lane now and looking to just draw that side pressure on. The Kale and the Volibear here, I don't believe the two of those can 2v1 set at this point in the game. But
they seem to think they can. Yeah. I'm not too sure. I'd really like to see Mason answer one of these ganks on the Nishan at some point. He's here, but
I'm not sure what
fizzle out.
I think that play was a little bit greedy. Wasting a little bit of time, but I'm not sure it's being able to capitalize much.
That's big damage.
Yeah.
Braum shield getting a lot of value though.
Might have gotten a bit over aggressive though, and yeah, Twitch goes a little bit greedy, gets tagged by Braum, and is picked up by Yunara. Yunara should live here.
Oh my god.
And
Taxi not having ultimate there is so unfortunate. Yeah. He comes up now and he uses it, but it's too little too late. Not having ultimate on the initial play.
There's a Mason there.
Mason gets one, but I think he's just dead to Volibear.
Yeah, without that ult. Okay.
Oh, no, perhaps nice job by Eden there, sticking around, able to peel his teammate, and it ends up being, I believe, just a 2-for-1 there. Will does now just full complete the boots. I was about to comment on why I still was surprised he had not gone for them yet. Now has the full completed boots. I think that's actually going to help him out a lot.
Scion is uncontested pushing top lane here. Shouldn't be able to get the turret. But in exchange for that, looks like we are going to get 5% of turret Kale's health down. So
that was a really good awareness there by Kale, by Sarverus there, backed it up. You see he has the blue trinket. He actually warded that bush right as Mason was coming through, so had really good intuition to expect that gank and manages to stay alive. I thought in his series yesterday, Sarverus kind of uncharacteristically got caught out a lot more than usual. What you saw right there is way more emblematic of what he typically shows. Really good awareness of where the jungler can be, backs it up, and has made it impossible for them to punish the Kale. Did fall down in CS and is still a little bit behind a Taxi, but at 162 farm right now, Kale is very, very comfortable with the game state.
Yep, so I do want to note that Yunara did pick up the Ruinons here, so in these fights where Big Bananas are just sort of throwing bodies at you, definitely going to be even more of a difficulty test. Volibear is really strong, has completed that Navori.
Yeah, the Quick Blades is so strong.
I don't know how much Ryan can do to help here.
I still don't think we've really seen a great fight for Big Bananas. It's been a lot of plays all over the place. We have not gotten a true fight where Nishan is in the middle of everybody while other players are there able to hit.
Yeah, Nishan does have a teleport here, as does Kale, who looks like they're for now choosing to just trade it out while watching their team.
Critically, Yunara has the first move from mid here. Twitch will be late. Mason going in though, getting good damage down. Oh, Twilio does have the flash. Really here comes the 5v5.
I see the objective.
One Thief a little uncertain on if they want to fight this or not.
I think they need to. I think that Scion.
Well, they've kind of made themselves have to do it. Oh, it's a massive play by Nishan there. Can he get the W off?
Oh!
Oh! Taxi's ultimate finds Dave there. The Starburst is still hitting, though.
Wait a minute. Okay.
Oh, Will critically finds Cerberus. Oh, my goodness.
That was a crazy fight.
Yeah, there was so much happening on both sides of that fight.
I don't even... Yeah, there was a lot going on. I think, yeah, the big, massive things were Taxi just finding some massive multi-man hits. Nishan getting that crazy W there, hitting like 3 people with true damage. And then...
Oh, yeah. He said... Yeah. He took almost all of Dave's health bar, and then at that exact same moment... Taxi's ultimate came through and finished him off. Yeah. Critically, though, it was 4 for 2 in the favor of BB, but Jonah found the smite amongst all the chaos and secured the Otacon for his team. That makes it way less painful than if it had been a 4 for 2 and you lost the Otacon.
Right. At 20 minutes here, we are picking up the 3rd Drake, second 4 Big Bananas. Having to luck smite there to secure as neither jungler was there.
Looks like Riptrail's not even going to get a hit off here. A little bit unfortunate use there. But they do get the dragon, as you mentioned. And they have, from being down 3k gold earlier, now the gold is a lot more even.
I don't know if we can look on Yunara here, man. I think she's crazy timing. Crazy timing.
Crazy timing, mid-echo ult. You always hate to see a pause. You especially hate to see a pause in the middle of combat. But these things do happen occasionally.
Oh, casters can't even move camera during pauses. That's it.
I expect Mason to be able to just get out here. You do see Taxi is coming in. You know, perhaps there's an angle to look, but you're seeing the damage that Dave is putting out already with just the 2 items. If you see Mason's health bar, like he's going to be just above half health. There's a chance Dave can still finish him off here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this stun. It doesn't hit Yunara. I think it might hit Braum. But Yunara should just be able to keep pumping, and I'm not sure there's anything he can do to get out.
I don't even believe that's the stun. I do believe that's just the AoE, the echo damage.
Oh, wow, okay.
So, yeah, he's going to come out right there, a little bit above half health. With the exhaust, may be able to just get ran down here. Does manage to get out. Dave did not want to burn the flash to go aggressive there. I think that makes sense.
Oh,
it's not necessarily worth to blow your flash when there's really just no objective open.
What?
But... we do have a little bit of some delay here.
I just backtracked and...
Okay, I think that's...
Okay, no, I think that'd be a pause with no...
perhaps.
Something's broken. Oh, okay, we're back. We're chilling. Everything's fine.
So, Will is looking aggressive here, but I don't know if you actually want this play. Yeah. Now, Will is on 2 items now, which is an increase from where he was before. Oh, does find good damage on a Dave. Critically, the
Lux does miss. You definitely, I mean, got a trade there. Traded Braum ult for Lux and Twitch ult. Okay, and
another pause. A little unfortunate.
Yeah, so I guess looking at okay, game state here. Okay, this is coming out of a pause is a little bit interesting.
Cerberus is getting really close to having that death cap online. Kale becomes a pretty big monster once that's completed. Is also level 14 right now. We have to track, obviously, Kale at level 16 is when you kind of just become an unkillable raid boss. Dave is still up significantly in the bot lane matchup. Gonna have his Infinity Edge before Twitch is even getting really halfway to components, it appears. But, yeah. Oh.
Nishan's going for a between turret dive here. Makes Yunara flash. Might be a bit greedy here. I'm not sure if there's anyone to support him.
I don't know.
Milio was taking the entire turret.
Oh, Milio, what are you doing?
Milio is so dead. Oh my god. And then, yeah, Nishan just kind of dies there. And Milio said that sounded fun.
Respect to Eden. That's true support behavior, saying you might have made a dumb play, but I'm going to back you up to the ends of the earth.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, gets punished. And critically, Nishan did get the flash, but it's not enough to do really anything more than that. But we will have to track. Dave will not have flash for the next fight.
I feel like I would have wanted to ult the wave there, but Lux ult going there for a little bit of poke, and we are just going to lose the turret. This is going to shift the gold lead from pretty even to now pretty comfortably a lead for one thief. Looking at objectives, there's not really anything up. Baron spawning in a minute. Drake is not for like 3 minutes, so it'll be interesting to see how those teams play around that. I think in terms of map play, Scion with that TP is able to just push out these lanes, and it's really hard to contest him at this point in the game. I guess he only does have one item, but you know, a lot of W stacks.
I do believe Mason's going to complete his second item here. Yeah, does have the Dead Man's Plate with the Swifties. With this Echo build, you end up being very, very fast. Perhaps he can use this to kind of, you know, create some advantages on the map through his extra movement speed. Maybe surprise some people with how fast he can arrive. Nishan just looking for the 1v1. The Kayle ult comes out extremely early, will fall off.
And yeah.
And that's just an extremely nice kill by Nishan. I didn't necessarily think he was going to be able to find that, but knew his damage, and Sarverus without flash there, even with the ultimate, is able to just die. And you force out Camazot's TP. And with Baron coming up, now your top laner isn't going to have teleport.
Oh, Scion picks up the... No.
Oh, big damage.
You know, we have a fight happening in mid here. Yunara is able to get picked up. Really well played by Big Bananas. Bean should be able to make it out here without too much trouble.
Yeah. Dave went in there, almost found Will, and, you know, potentially could have kept popping off had he found him, but Taxi hit a really nice ultimate there that, you know, just if the Lux ult is hitting Dave, it's taking a significant portion of his health, and you know, your Scion's bot now with no TP like we just called, so this should just be a Baron unless, you know, there are low health bars, but it's so hard to contest down 4v5.
Yeah, Nishan could just be a human ward and just keep them off.
Okay, critically, Kale's flash is coming up right now. If they're going to win this fight, it's going to be off the back of Sarverus going big.
Oh, Twitch got the Baron.
Twitch secured it. That's crazy.
Yeah, a little bit of an early snipe there. But
all that matters is that you got it.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Really nice job by Big Bananas on, you know, turning the bot kill into a mid play, into the Baron, and now they themselves have snagged back the gold lead. This is a really great game so far. It's just going back and forth, back and forth.
It feels like, you know, we're only like 26 minutes in. I feel like this has just been so intense. It feels like we've been going for like a 30, 40-minute game with how many like crazy plays there have been. I really do want to shout out Nishan there for just keeping the entire team off single-handedly and making it so Jonah had to go in for that, you know, dive for the attempted steal, which
yeah, they did get Jonah's flash there as well. Tried to find the steal with his flash, wasn't able to do it. Will not have flash in the next team fight. Critically, Dave is still without flash for this team fight. You have flashes up on every single member of Big Bananas except for the Milio.
Big Bananas did hit the Drake, but I think that kind of lets One Thief walk in here. This is a bit of a hard walk-in. Looks like we are kind of going on two different sides of the fight.
They do have good vision control on the side of One Thief.
Camazot's is just kind of walking in slowly. Nishan flashes in.
Flash again!
Oh, and one-shots
They one-shot him!
This should just be a one fight for Big Bananas at this point. Kayle is trying her best to DPS. Camazot falls.
Yeah, Kayle does damage, but I don't think it's enough when Dave goes down that fast.
We take the dragon and 4 kills along with it. That was really, really well played, Nishan. Again, just like showing off how dominant he is. He said, you guys wanted to see why I picked Set last on Red 5? Here you go. He's just been absolutely putting on a really beautiful performance on this champion in these fights.
Oh, yes. I mean, we called out that Dave critically does not have flash. So even with, you know, the dash of his E, that cannot create enough space to live once Nishan sees that angle. I'm sure they're tracking Dave's flash, and just that recognition to know I can just force on you to start the fight just did not even give One Thief a chance. And I don't think they ever expected Big Nance to take such an aggressive play right there.
I didn't see this happen. Apparently,
such
Scion
a good game.
died after that.
I believe then Nishan ulted Scion back into the group of the team. I mean, Nishan played that fight excellent.
Yes. Big Banana is just going to back off here. They do have at this point like 7k gold league. Can I do math? I don't know. A lot. 8k, something like that.
Yeah,
I mean, they're just going to clear out this jungle here on their way out.
It's not that long ago that One Thief was sitting with about a 3k gold lead, with scaling on their side, feeling really comfortable, and Big Bananas just has consistently found good play after good play after good play ever since we got past, say, 22, 23 minutes.
Yeah, I do want to shout out here, you know, Will had a, you know, kind of rough start, especially coming out of lane and, you know, a bit weaker, but has quietly come very much online.
Yeah. Definitely.
Play these fights really, really well. So, are we gonna get a steal here?
Exactly what I was talking about in the draft is, what does Set do? What does Echo do? They create messy fights, and Twitch loves messy fights. It's created so much space that the side of One Thief hasn't even been able to like consider focusing on Will anymore because they have to deal with Nishan.
I do want to note we do have Nishan here bot lane with the teleport up. Sion's going to match him now, but the rest of the team is just kind of getting poked down.
Yeah, there is still decent wave clear on the side of One Thief, but I expect they can probably just take this turret on the next wave.
Gets the inhibitor for the Sion. Yunara is leaving, so yeah, that turret's definitely going down.
They're struggling because you have to send someone else to help with the set, but if you send anyone else, you can't deal with the top push.
Right, we're looking for an engage here on the Echo. Ends up coming out with full health.
Critically, they all sidestepped the Lux ult there, which should have. Wait, but there's
Nishan flank! Wow, where'd he come from?
I didn't see that coming. Oh, Flash is just all over the place. Flash, flash, flash. It does look like it's just going to end up being a 1 for Z. Oh, they are staying.
They are staying.
Really, no mana on the Echo here. Can't offer much at this point.
And no barrier. Yeah, it should just be a turret. And we're just seeing the Life Force get choked out. We do have the Nishan flanking, or I guess teleporting in.
TP's back with a whole other item here. Just forces Kale's flash purely off just walking at him. I mean, that's tough.
If everyone's ever like, people keep talking about Aura. What does Aura mean? Aura is walking out of Kale and making her flash away from you.
You have to, though. And, not only does he have the Swifties, he has the feats of Strength Swifty, so he's even faster. It's just...
but Kale's not even 16 yet.
A champion that can typically run away from everyone. Yeah, I feel like I called out Kale level 14 a long time ago, but... I feel like the solo kill that Nishan found on Kale in the bot lane really slowed down Cerberus's level scaling, and it's prevented him. And then you had the Dragon fight, you had the Baron fight. He hasn't been able to just sit inside and catch waves. And yeah, as you mentioned, not level 16 yet. Really hurting him.
It did hit 16 now. As we do have Baron spawning in 30 seconds, both teams do seem to be converging on that side of the map. Actually, maybe not. Maybe One Thief is just looking to concede it. But I
think
feel like
you almost have to give it, but at the same time, you're down 3 inhibs. You really can't give it and expect to hold the base.
Yeah,
you're kind of in a no-win situation here. You just got to all choose what you want the play to be, and it appears it's going to be base defense.
Yeah, I mean it's so tough here. If you're going to be sitting on that Baron with 3 inhibitors down, but what are you going to do? Walk into the Echo set Twitch Lux
Yeah, Dave is on 4 items now.
Meanwhile, we have Joan over here farming.
And I will say, earlier this season, we saw some insane Yunara plays by Will to win a game that they had no business winning to go Nexus to Nexus. So I'm never going to count them out of it with this Yunara champion online, but it's just so difficult at this point.
Okay, we are looking for, I guess, a pick here. Yunara is
DPSing Will
Lux, but gets caught on Echo.
Oh, wow. I like what Dave went for there, but without Flash, he could not secure the kill, and yeah, that's just going to end up being a wipe here, and that should just be the game number 1 going over to Big Bananas.
I'm really impressed, by the way. Big Bananas played this. Yes, I mean, definitely just a slow burn here as they pop down, but I feel like Big Bananas played this game so well. They acknowledged their win conditions. They said, okay, bot's going to be a little bit tougher, but we just play around, the strong mid lane advantage early, and then that set last pick, and we just a lot of really clean stuff. Who would you claim as your MVP for this game?
To me, I think by the end of the game, everyone on Big Bananas had great performance. I definitely want to give a shout out to Taxi. Did a great job of getting advantage over Kale in lane and then landing damage in the team fights. But to me, the MVP has to be Nishan.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, just taking, knowing, we're going to blind tag, because we were talking about we expected Taxi to be that last pick. Having that confidence to say, yup, pick me, I know what I'm doing here. And then just, having so many amazing plays. I mean, those set ults and W's just absolutely won so many fights. We do have, just real quick for game 2, One Thief did decide to stay on blue side. So I'm just throwing that.
Interesting. So, just a little more about Nishan. To me, not he won the 1v1 in the lane, which to me that's expected. Like you had the R5 counter, you picked a counter champion, you won your lane. That's important and it's needed. But I've already said it, there was a 3K gold lead for One Thief because their bot lane played so well. And yes, you're always going to fall behind when you're playing Sion into a counter and Kale mid. Like you're going to fall behind, but they had a clear angle to win with the power of their bot lane and with their team composition. But what Nishan did that I don't think is, just a given is he then just played the team fights out so well. Consistently found backline access onto Dave, consistently shut him down, and really just ran over the game in the later stage team fights and just did not give them a chance. That was a really impressive game by Nishan. So very good MVP performance by him. For game 2, as you said, I'm a little surprised they chose to stay on blue. I don't, maybe they'll look to take the Volibear again. I think the Volibear was a fine pick. I'm not going to, really judge, or it's hard to get too much of a read there. Critically, I guess that was Jonah's first loss on the Volibear, which I don't think he had a bad game by any means. Just kind of, I don't know, he found some top ganks. Just in those team fights felt hard to pilot, but I don't know. What's your logic or your thought process on why they might have wanted to stick with blue side?
Yeah, I don't know. I think because like we've been saying, Nishan got so much value on the set there, beyond what you'd necessarily expect from that last pick, and we really didn't see much from the Volibear. Obviously they didn't really have much of a choice going into the series on which one they would start on, but presumably if they're keeping it, it might have been their strategy to go with the Volibear. I think, like you said, it did well, but I'm not sure if we might see the bands changed up specifically. But
looks like we are going to get in a draft any moment, though.
Yeah, I'm updating, which I guess is really only just about winning. But I'll just open that up since. Okay, yeah. So the draft is starting now, and we are going to see Udyr come down again, Smolder come down again.
So. Same band so far. I'm still not 100% sure on the Sylas band. Like, Mason has played a good Sylas jungle so far this season, but I don't feel like it's just a pick it at any spot kind of champion. And I feel like Jonah has a wide enough champion pool to where he could end up with a good matchup, but, they clearly think it's a problem champion. It's the same exact bands as last game. One Thief, and it's the same first pick. One Thief is clearly saying that was not the issue. And they're just going to steal the Yunara saying, hey, you left Twitch? I play Yunara too. I like this adaptation out of Will.
Yeah.
Has already played multiple good Yunara games this season. And of course, Mason's just going to be happy running back the matchup that just worked. Yeah, so now we'll see what is Dave's answer going to be, because I'm sure Dave would have been, prefer to just get the Yunara again because he played a great game on it. But this time around, he's going to have to find the Yunara counter pick.
Yeah, it looks like we do have a bit of thinking here. I guess, I assume the Echo was expected. The Yunara might not have been. We're probably talking about bot picks here. And we are going to go for the Kai'Sa. It's not a pick we've seen a lot of recently. But I think it makes sense as a pick into Yunara. Although...
Yeah. I think it gives Yunara a little bit easier of a lane than you might have wanted.
Yeah.
But I think it's fine. I think Dave's a very good Kai'Sa player. I'd like to just see them round out their draft with some more dive champions. Syndra, not exactly, but Syndra can kind of fit in any comp.
Oh, okay.
And Taxi's just saying, I'm going to take it to you. This is both mid laners on their absolute best champions. We'll talk about the matchup a little more once we have time, but so excited to see those champs locked in.
We are seeing the both support picks both saved, so it's interesting. We do see the Vernata ban dropped. It's definitely one of being's most iconic champions. And Mesa comes down, definitely something that works pretty well with the Echo pick. I'm not sure what else we're gonna see coming down here. We might end up seeing the Braum again, or the Nautilus ban. Okay. Looks like Eden's pretty indecisive here. And yeah, we're just going on
I think Milio makes sense. Like, it's comfortable champion, played well on it last game.
Okay.
Blitzcrank. Okay, Bean. Okay.
He slammed that. He had no hesitation.
I like it. Hey, as of right now, there's a lot of good champions to hook on that enemy team comp. They ban away the set. I honestly wouldn't hate you just go Scion again and say, hey, you don't have set this time. We'll be okay. It's either Scion or Camazot's playing a new champion in team format.
Either way, it's exciting. And all right, we are seeing the Shen. That definitely makes sense.
And the Mordekaiser is a Giga Shin counter, although it will make them be triple AP topside. I don't love Gangplank. Darius, I think you kind of need some AD topside, preferably, or else Volibear is going to be.
I feel like I like the Garrett here, to be honest.
I don't think Alawi's that great in the Syndra. Okay, Darius is going to be the pick. I've not actually seen Nishan play Darius yet, I don't believe, so I'm excited to see that matchup, but really fun drafts here. With band staying the same and with first pick staying the same, I got a little concerned that we were about to get like a salty run back.
Have we ever had a full salty run back? I'm not sure.
Probably. Honestly, probably. But
wait, why did Assets
coming out here? Really fun champions, and I think I'm most excited to see the mid lane matchup, which I believe you highlighted as the key matchup. Kale versus Lux is kind of a farm do nothing matchup. Anytime Zoe's picked, you are fighting. Like you have to fight if you pick the Zoe champion, and that's gonna be fun.
We can wait. Did my
I believe that's still the previous
game. This is awesome. Thank you, Dean, for your functioning website.
Well, as you're correcting that, I like what One Thief did as far as like an adaptation. Anytime you lose, I think it's better to try to go with something different. Sure, they could have sat there and said, we had a 3K gold lead. We could have won that game. We could run back a similar comp. This time around, going for a little more aggression. I like that. Just going ahead and grabbing Sarveris, his most comfortable champion. Like, this guy is an excellent Syndra player. And to just take it blind here, I like that confidence by him. It frees up Bean's pick to fall into that later stage. So instead of Bean having to blind pick Braum, this time you give Bean the counter pick, which I really like that adaptation. I think it's a great Blitzcrank spot. Hooks onto really anyone but Darius are great this game. And I mean, if Darius is at misposition, then even a hook onto Darius can be good, but a hook onto Milio, Zoe, or Yunara is just almost always going to result into a kill. Excited to see how the Shin goes. I think Shin is going to be a little bit hard to play into the Darius lane, but I think Camazotz has shown that he's a really good player, playing for his team, and that's definitely like Shin's main goal. I will say as well, I know that Lispy is, both the sub for One Thief, played last night, but he also, I believe I've been told, is, serving a little bit as like a coach role, a little bit of a captain role, a little bit of a coach. And he's an excellent Shin player, so if he's, given any kind of insight to Camazotz on, the Shin gameplay or the Shin matchups, then, I expect, Camazotz will be coming in with a pretty good amount of knowledge.
Did Dean's website work? It did.
Jonah is going to be looking to rectify his now one defeated Volibear, getting back on track with another win here. Mason moves to 7-0 on his last 7 Echo games in the server. Frankly, I don't think that game really showed the Echo pick to its full potential. I don't think Mason had like a poor game by any means, but kind of just did his job that game. Wasn't really able to snowball. That Echo build is a lot more scary if you're able to snowball and get some advantage. That time around, just kind of did his job, farmed through the early game, and found damage, found some CC in team fights.
I was kicked from champ select, so we have to restart spectator delay. Riot moment. So we are gonna be a little bit delayed on this. So we do have 2.5 more minutes CF.
Well, we can talk about mid lane a little bit. I'm excited to see, both players, as you see right there, on their, most played, most comfortable champions. Both have really good stats here. Both have a good win rate. I believe it's both their champions to watch as well. Sarveris is one of the best Syndra players in the server. Taxi is, I've discussed he has a wide champion pool, but I think Zoe is, his best champion. He'd probably admit that. Really great Zoe player. I'll say Taxi actually told me earlier this season, we were discussing Zoe, and he told me he doesn't actually think it's that good of a champion to pick in competitive team format. Thinks it's more of a solo queue champion. Told me he's only going to pick it if he thinks it's a really good spot for it. this time around feels like this is the spot. And I do think Zoe is actually a pretty hard matchup for Syndra. If Syndra can survive the early game, you always have the ability to land stuns and to look for one-shots on Zoe. But like the first levels 1 through 6 are extremely hard for the Syndra to play. Extremely hard. So we're going to be looking for Taxi to play as aggressive as possible. I expect Taxi will take Ignite, which is, almost always mid laners take teleport in team format, but on a champion like Zoe, you almost have to take Ignite because if you're not getting kills, it's really not a champion to pick. But, if he's able to find those advantages and find that advantage, I think it could then become really hard for One Thief, because if Zoe is strong, there's not really anyone that can tank bubbles. It's just going to come down to Bean finding good hooks, which maybe he can, maybe he can't. It'll be a lot harder for him to find hooks if Zoe's able to control vision, control the river, control jungle space, by always being able to threaten those bubbles over walls. So, I don't know. That's my thoughts. Let's ask a question for you. What matchup are you most excited for this game?
So I feel like in terms of difference from last game, I'm definitely a lot. I'm interested in this bot lane here. I think that there's definitely going to be a lot more blood with this Blitzcrank Kai'Sa lane. I think it definitely puts Dave at a lot of responsibility of just like maintaining the pace of the game, because like you said, we do have that stronger matchup mid. We have that same jungle matchup we've seen, and then top lane is kind of isolated from that. So I'm definitely excited to see how this bot lane goes, because Will is on the champion. He's done really well on recently, and then seeing Bean on this Blitzcrank is definitely something that I think he's going to have a lot of pressure on the map, and so I'm excited to see that play out. Real quick before we get into game, I just want to say season records of these champions. Shen has not had the best season, and then beyond that, Yunara's had a very good season. Zoe's apparently 8-1, and then the rest are Voliera's had a good season, but otherwise pretty even. And then between, I guess overall, it's fine. So we can just boot and take. Why is it showing the client instead of? Okay.
Oh, we're in.
Okay. Yes. Let me go ahead and stream.
Yeah. So as expected, Zoe does go for the Ignite. That's not really a surprise. Otherwise, Rune's looking pretty standard. I don't really see anything too surprising. I'm not sure if Milio went for the Airy last game or if they went for Guardian. I don't recall, but with the Airy, you're looking for a little bit more poke damage, a little bit more lane damage, and no level 1 shenanigans, which you kind of always expect when there's a Blitzcrank. This time around, just gonna play it out safe. And I think the most critical thing for Big Bananas this game is you cannot have a repeat of how levels like 1 through 5 went last game, where One Thief just found 2v2 advantage. If hooks start landing onto Milio and Yunara too early in this game and Kai'Sa is able to snowball, I could see it being very, very difficult for them.
Yeah. Yeah. So this time definitely into a lot more passive of a start. No fist fight in top lane, no invade in the jungle. We do have both junglers pathing towards bot lane still. So we can actually see if Mason has a clear as his starting ability, if that will affect anything. Bean's just getting a really good trade here. Kai'Sa passive is gonna proc, and that's a solo kill, I think, for Kai'Sa. Yeah. Really, really well played from Bean and Dave there. Really tough position, definitely taking advantage of Yunar's weak start. But yeah, definitely pretty different start from.
Want to see for the side of Big Bananas.
Yeah.
Good trade by Taxi. Finds the bubble. That's gonna be a good damage trade.
Apo.
But Sarver's go trading back well enough.
Oh, unfortunate. Zoe is looking for some deep vision here with Darius. I guess now they know that he cleared his cats.
So they will know that he's pathing towards bot. Will did save his flash there, which it's unfortunate that he died, but the fact that he has flash will make it a little bit harder for Blitzcrank to look for a second kill. Had he used flash there, the re-kill, the re-hook would almost certainly spell death.
All right, Mason is looking for a potential mid play here. And that stun is going to hit. That bubble is going to come down. Or Q.
Oh my
Did the Q
goodness.
miss? Looks like it didn't do damage.
No, I believe Zoe Q did hit. That's just an extremely good W by
catches the E.
Nice job by being there to trade that back with the flash. Predicts Mason's E dash, but I don't want that death to take away from the fact that Mason had an extremely good game.
Oh yeah.
His W placement was perfect. You saw that Sarverus tried to flash, but even with flash, still got caught by the edge of the stun and just set Taxi up perfectly to grab a kill.
All right, we do have, looks like Jonah converging on bot lane here, going for a flank gank. Yunar does have flash here, so should just flash the volley. Q. Oh, Q runs down. Flashes the blitzcrank hook. But good flank play. Prey on the lack of vision control by Big Man in bot lane. Big trade here, top. We do have 2 Dark Seals coming down for Echo and Zoe, so hopefully we can get some value on those. That will have to wait and see how that goes though. We do have Shen burning TP. Actually, I guess I hadn't really noticed. What Thief does have 2 TPs here, while Big Bananas has 0. So that may play a pretty big impact on later game fights, make macro a lot harder for the side of Big Bananas.
Yeah, we'll see where junglers choose to go next. Perhaps we can get a fight around mid again or a fight around top.
We do have Blitzcrank walking from mid to bot here. Kai'Sa just able to pick up the wave, maybe lacking a little bit of experience, still at level 3. On Blitzcrank. Oh, just Hex Slashes over the Draco.
Oh, good bubble. Should be a good damage trade.
Bang. Blitzcrank is looking mid here. Scatter with the weak is going to miss, though. We do have Jonah looking still.
This is potentially dangerous.
Okay, you get a flash E. Meanwhile, Dave is just farming 2v1 here and winning a trade. In the 2v1. Yeah, I mean,
oh, nice
wow.
Stun again. Mason with great W so far. I think Camazot's fine here.
Oh, Echo is going to be able to get out here. That is a big turret shot taken, but Shen is notably without TP here. Oh, wow. Oh my god. That Blitzcrank keep barely missing Yunar, saving her skin. Will still has not gotten the chance to back here. This is a really, really, really tough position.
Yeah, I mean, we are just seeing some absolute lane domination on the side of Dave and Bean.
Yeah, I mean, up 20 CS and a kill at this point. And it's going to be really hard to farm here at no health. Kai'Sa passive should come down. Emilio, oh no, one auto. Okay, I guess we're stepping up for it. It's fine.
There is no vision on the Echo. Gonna flash in. Dave has both subs, though. I assume he's gonna be able to get away.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard there with Yunara on no mana and so far away. Echo found what looked like a pretty good play, but
a bit of an overeager flash there from Mason.
Yeah. All right, both Yunara and Emilio have basically no mana at this point. No mana and no items, and so yeah, we are just gonna have to walk out of here.
Oh, that's a great. Oh, that scatter may keep Sarverus alive. Oh, the double ignite by Taxi, though.
And
only Zoe can pull that off, but...
This is why Zoe is remarked as his champion to watch. You finally get to see it.
Yeah, really great solo kill by Taxi there in the mid lane, which is what you need if you're picking Zoe. Zoe is a champion that should find solo kills, so really good stuff out of him.
All right, we are 2-2 on the kills here. We have a kill on the Blitzcrank and Kai'Sa versus 2 on the Zoe. That's definitely going to be... I feel like Zoe is very much a like feast or famine kind of champion. And like if you're not making these leads early, it's very tough to you know, make plays later in the game with no damage. And so it'll be exciting to see what Taxi can pull off on this notorious champion with this
I want to give Camazot some credit too. You know, is down quite a bit of farm, but has managed to, you know, not give over any kills this time around. Should be able to, you know, be a little more relevant in these team fights than last game. And you know, we'll look to see where his first Shen ult is going to be, but you always want to track that to see, you know, what kind of value can he get with the Stand United.
But we do have Emilio here, along with matching the blitz. And yeah, Kaisa just picks up the solo kill.
After a while they're choosing the fight out there. It's a little unfortunate. Dave just grabs another one. Well played to him.
Yeah, and I mean, again, we have another 2-to-1 grubs. But this time we have both supports there, but equally unbloody as last time. Looks like Emilio and Blitz are both hanging out mid, but Echo. Okay, I don't know why we have like 5 billion people mid, and then it's like, are you gonna watch the top laners trade? But yeah, both bot laners are heading. All 4 are heading back bot. As Myth takes his crab uncontested. We don't really have any objectives up for a while, so it's gonna be a lot of just like going back to lanes, chilling out. Mason is going for an invade on the Raptors here. And so there's not much counterplay Jonah has there. Yunara might be stepping up a little far here. It looks like he is in the bush. Meanwhile, we are.
They do force the Cinder Flash there.
Yunara does have Flash barrier here, and Emilio ult comes down. Yunara is going to die after Kaisa flashes in, and the Blitzcrank hook is going to get flashed by Eden. He did a good flash there, but yeah, I mean this Kaisa is really fed.
Getting slaughtered,
yeah, it's like 1.4k gold at
say what it is.
Kaisa. Echo's going here. I'm not sure what he thinks he's going to do. 1v or I guess 2v2 against that champion, but I guess worth a little bit of space. Should be able to get a really big chunk here. Not going to get a kill. And we are going to go for the flash ignite.
That's another solo kill.
Taxi just showing off the strength of this champion. Like I called it before, definitely making use of that dark seal.
Great job by Mason. You know, Mason was there earlier, blew Syndra's flash. What that did was it gave Taxi flash advantage, which he's been able to turn into a kill. So 3-0, I mean, this is exactly where you want to be if you're the Zoe. It's unfortunate the bot lane's kind of the state it is for Big Bananas, but you know, it doesn't matter if Tyson's 10-0 if Zoe hits a sleep at a certain point. So they are going to have angles to try to fight it, but right now it's really kind of setting up to be a battle of Dave and Taxi at the moment.
Yeah, it's always scary as an AD carry whenever, you know, you have a champion like Zoe get fed. It's just really such like a hard thing to position against. You do have Nishan just, I mean, tank matchup. I don't know. You got a good trade there, but Shen's definitely in a lot more value. Really massive wave here. He's going to try and hit turret.
Be careful here. You get taunted under turret.
Yeah, it's a little bit risky. We do have Volier flashing on Taxi. He's going to pick up that shutdown in Syndra. That is going to be 500 gold down in Syndra.
Great punish. You know, Taxi had just used his flash to find that kill. Really good punish there. I love that by Jonah to just say, hey, I got flash too, buddy. I'm going to come help my mid laner out.
All right, Jason looking for way just like dives. Shen is playing this pretty well, flashes, but is able to. Oh, and nice! Wow, Nishan does barely live.
And look at the cross map. There's 4 bot lane for 1 thief right now. Will and Eden are going to be in a lot of trouble here potentially. Volibear does have ultimate if he wants to shut the turret off, but oh, it seems they've kind of dissuaded them. That's actually huge for the side of BB. Yeah. You not only get the top play, you don't even have to have the counter play.
We are going to get. I mean, are we going to get the turret here? Shen is TP,
I'm surprised 1 thief didn't go for that. I guess they really felt like it was a little too risky. You know, maybe they thought Taxi, you know, Taxi does show up. Maybe they thought he was a little closer than he ended up being. I'm not too sure. But with that, overall, it ends up just being a great play for BB. It is going to be Dragon traded back. So, you know, you do just take the safer play of the Dragon versus going for the dive. That is now 2nd Dragon. Your 2 dragons towards an Infernal Soul. And with the Kaisa, you know, Infernal Soul would be awesome. So I do think, even though the gold lead is very slightly in the favor of BB, that One Thief is still very comfortable.
Yeah, both teams, it's definitely just a matter of where the strength lies. Like you said, it's going to be the battle of the Zoe versus the Kaisa. We did see, you know, Top get a lot of gold there all at once. I mean, wow. Actually, yeah, with that CS lead and that whole turret he got, that's nearly a 2,000 gold lead difference in just Top going a little bit under the radar. You know, no flashy kills or anything other than that one dive, but it's just really tough.
Between the turret, between the CS, between the one kill, it does kind of add up to being quite a bit. Jonah, interestingly enough, gone for a different build this game. Looks like he's, I guess that's going to be a Black Cleaver first item, as opposed to the Cosmic Drive. Syndra also going for the burst build. You know, Sarvis is a player that really enjoys the kind of the burn haste build, but has opted for the build I prefer this game, which is just more the raw burst, which I think makes sense here. You want to be able to, you know, match burst with Zoe. You know, even though Sarvis has died 3 times, is sitting very comfortably on a farm, which is critical. As long as Syndra's farming and hitting her item breakpoints, she'll always be able to scale to relevancy. So I think overall, BB's still, or excuse me, One Thief's still pretty happy with where this game is at, as is BB. I mean, we're just setting up for another super close game.
We do have Herald spawning in 30 seconds, and so Big Bananas is trying to posture here, taking off the Shen. Melio's a little bit stuck there.
Oh, Shen might be in trouble here. Had already used his W. That should just be a kill, yeah.
Darius, we should pick him off. He's able to live, I guess.
Oh, wow, man. Yeah, manages to live there. That's actually really big for him. You know, one thing I'll say is I don't believe we've actually...
Is that it?
Will may just be dead here.
No Syndra. Oh, wow.
Will needs to leave. I mean...
Yeah.
He's lucky that Sarvis didn't just walk up and press R. I'm not sure if Sarvis expected to put him that low. Maybe with the barrier, Will lives regardless. Not 100% sure, but really good damage by Sarvis, which will result in a bot lane tower.
Even though Shen didn't die there, it got Big Bananas enough pressure that they should just be able to uncontested take this. Looks like we do have Dave.
Looks like they might want to contest. And Jonah gets it.
Wow. And he ults in on
And there's our first Shen ult. Ends up being a pretty good one. Oh, and Mason's just sticking around instead of just going over the wall. Yeah. And really nice job by One Thief there to punish him. You see the power of the Shen. I was just about to comment that we had not seen a Shen ult yet. That ends up being a really good one. Backs up Jonah, gets the steal, gets the kill.
Syndra should be fine. Oh my god, this guy
hook is massive!
Hook. Zoe just managed to not get out. Kaisa ult follows. You know, it is DPSing, but with one item is not doing anything. Wait, what did get stunned by that? Was that Scatter of the Week? Wow.
Syndra finds another nice stun right there, and it's starting to fall apart a little bit for the side of Big Bananas. They were in a really comfortable position, but get caught at the Rift Herald, and then it turns into 2 more quick kills, and now One Thief in a very, very comfortable position.
Yeah, I've been really impressed by One Thief. Jonah has hasn't made as many like gank plays as Mason has, but has shown up with his team to the objectives and has managed to you know, save a lot of plays that have looked pretty dicey. Looks like we do have, I'm not super familiar with Kaisa builds. We do have Kaisa going for this sort of hybrid build.
Probably going to be a Nashor's 2/3, I think, if I know the build correctly.
So that should be really annoying with
your,
walking into that with the empowered W.
Yeah, Dave's playing a great game right now. As is Bean, though. I mean, Bean has been setting him up.
We do have, I mean, Otacon spawning in 30 minutes, Dragon spawning in 30.
Syndra does have flash here. Nice job by Mason.
Dodges the Zoe.
Oh, the bubble misses, though, critically.
But he's going to die to Emilio.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Still dead, but
yeah, this is
nice
really
job by Mason there. You know, that's huge. They catch Sarvis out, get his flash. Otacon is spawning not for another minute 20, though, so shouldn't result in an Otacon, but really nice catch. Perhaps it just results in a dragon. Shen does have TP, does not have ultimate.
Volibear just decides to say, screw the dragon, I'm killing the 0-4
Will's
Yara.
tank turret, and that's just a dead. That's a dead.
I mean, I don't know if I agree with that play. I mean, I guess it would be a 3v4 otherwise, but you do have the Shen. Oh, Shen ult is down. Okay.
I don't believe there's any world you can test Dragon, so I do like the fact that Jonas said, hey, I can't get Dragon.
Darius flashing on Kai'Sa here. Kai'Sa flashes out, but Mason should just be able to pick up the kill. Yeah, Dave does die here.
Shen ult's still not up, and Mason was tanking the turret there for so long.
Yeah, but it does not matter.
That was a perfect dive by the side of Big Bananas there. Mason just, as Echo can do, tank turret that entire time and then hits a critical ultimate to live and just set his team up perfectly. And that's really an unfortunate way for Dave and Bean to both find their first deaths that game. With all summoners for Dave getting blown too. That's pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, that whole sequence on Dragon was just really, really good for Big Bananas. Sorry, with the pick on the Syndra. We do have the Otacon spawning in a minute. So with those gold leads that were just generated, I'm interested to see how we're able to play around that. It's worth noting Shen is up. Shen does have TP. Hydra will have TP for Otacon. So we should be seeing some pretty strong bat play if we are hoping to contest that Otacon. But it's really hard with one
critically, no flashes on either Syndra or Kai'Sa for the next little while. It's going to make it really difficult for them to play around the Otacon, because what does Otacon have right near it? A ton of walls that make it really easy for a champion like Zoe to, pressure for sleeps. Will needs to be a little careful here. He steps up on this wave, and Sarverus finds a scatter of the weak. That could just be his death.
Red for that Otacon, and just as you predicted it, the barrier goes down, but it does not matter.
And a hook. Oh my goodness.
That was, good hook from Bean, and there's not much you can do at this point. You just gotta lick your wounds as Big Bananas.
And there is the Otacon spawning, and that's just gonna be Otacon now, most likely for the side of One Thief. Will just not respecting the fact that he cannot walk up on that wave. And Eden just kind of, unfortunately, get hooked there. But they're positioning in a way that almost looks like they're trying to do a little sneaky wrap play, but on full vision.
In the 3v4.
It's going to be critical for Zoe to find good damage.
Shen ulting on the Volibear.
Can Nishan get a first reset?
Oh,
no, he cannot.
Wow. Yeah, Kai'Sa ult, keeping him alive there, and it's really hard. Mason should... I guess is out here, but
yeah, Mason's dead here. I'm not.
Goes for Sarverus, does pick him off.
Oh, I guess he gets Sarverus, but I don't know why they choose to 3v5 a contest where they're like coming from behind them there on full vision. That felt desperate to me, and I don't feel like they need to be in a desperate game state. Yeah, I don't think they need to be desperate either. Maybe they thought it could go a little bit better if Darius is able to get that first reset, but they did a really good job of just focusing Nishan down in the middle of that fight, and he got bursted before he could really do anything, and yeah.
Well, I just want to note here, just for fun, apparently we have a prediction going. Thank you for whatever the Twitch mod set that up. It's 2k points on One Thief and 2 points on Big Bananas. So if Big Bananas wins... someone here is going to get a lot of points.
Frankly, that won't be like the incident yesterday where I think Mason played 67,000 points and PB had 1 point on Ricktard. So I don't know if 2K really is anything there, but... Yeah. Just Dave is getting really close to that Nashor's Tooth. As soon as he gets that third item completed, the Kai'Sa W poke becomes even more annoying. Syndra has hit 2 items. Jonah has his Navori Quick Blades. Very, very comfortable if you're the side of One Thief. And, I want to give credit to Camazotz in another really challenging matchup. Has remained, he's behind in farm. He's behind in, some gold, but has done his job, done what has been needed to do. And sometimes that's all it takes. Someone is going to end up in a bad matchup when you're on blue side. But it's always critical for that person who is in that bad matchup to just play well enough to give your team what they need to win, and so far Camazotz has definitely done that, so I want to give him some credit there.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have Drake spawning here in 30 seconds. Volibear.
Oh, he misses!
Wow.
Extremely rare miss by Taxi there on a sleep target. That's unfortunate. That would have chunked Volibear down to damn near 20 HP, but going to be able to stick around now most likely. I do like that play with the vision, though. Can look for similar plays now with bubbles. You really want to see Zoe kind of find poke. I think if both teams are starting to fight at full health, it's going to be really hard for Big Bananas. You need that poke.
Start fighting a massive chunk of Yunara here. I will note the Shen pushing a top lane with the ult now up. The dragon is going down, but it looks like
Darius flashes in!
No Shen ult coming down? Okay, Shen ult coming down on the Kaisa. And with that,
Mason found Dave!
Wow.
But I think
Zoe should get picked here with the flash.
Okay though, because Zoe's gonna die, and Jonah got the third drag. So while they did find Dave, it took so much that they weren't really able to do anything else.
Yeah, I mean that was a 1 for 3 with One Thief coming out on top. Really good awareness there. I mean, they got a lot of gold onto Shen there, uncontested push, and then when the moment mattered, of course Kaisi did eventually drop, but was able to DPS a ton before dropping thanks to that ult in the barrier. Meanwhile, Mason's just taking issues to take up some camps in the jungle. Yeah,
Dave himself there with a little smiley face in chat, clearly taking that death in good stride. Probably one of those ones where you call worth. You're putting that much for me.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, Mason could be in trouble here, but
does have
should be able to run out.
No. Okay. I guess ult would be.
And 17-9, 3K gold lead for the side of One Thief. Still very comfortable for them. Credit to Jonah, deathless right now on this volley bear, playing a really good game.
We do have on the map Baron spawning in 20 seconds. Syndra does have teleport, so is looking to just walking straight to the objective. And so it looks like we are going to have another 5v5 team fight here. Ult is down, but almost every other ult in the game is up, so it'll be a pretty hot fight.
Yeah, I will say, unlike last game where, the Twitch had a really hard lane, but then found a lot of gold and found some items in the mid game, Will is really far behind this game. I think if, Yunara can get some items, maybe that'll help them out some, but I don't think they have enough sustained damage in these team fights right now. So if it's not Taxi finding like a critical bubble onto a carry to start off a fight, I just don't think they can win fights from full health. Until Yunara maybe can get some items if the game can stall long enough. But, I mean, at this point, you're always going to be an item behind Kaisa, and that's just going to make the game so hard.
We do have a little bit of ball playing back and forth here. Emilio is going to back for some wards. And it looks like Mason is just sort of walking away to the other side of the map. And One Thief is also just backing off, sort of decompressing a lot of the tension there. Emilio might be stepping up a bit far here on vision. No.
Also critically, I don't think we've actually commented on this yet, but there's no teleports on the side of the Big Bananas comp because Zoe needed Ignite and Darius wanted Ghost.
Looks like he's going to drop the Shurelius here. Darius should be picked here. I mean, it's just a 5v1.
5v1.
And there's nothing that the rest of Big Bananas can do except watch their teammate die right in front of them. Well, I guess not right in front of them.
They do use Syndra ult there, which is a little bit of a unnecessary play. They won't have that if they look for the Baron. It doesn't even look like they're going to go for the Baron. Instead, they're just going to reset.
And take the goal, I guess. Yunara does have second item now. Still gonna be really hard in these fights, but maybe gonna be able to get down a little bit of damage. Although I think that third item is really we're gonna see come online. Camazotz doesn't get
pretty big chunk by Mason. Echo's always a steal threat. Gonna be hard to get in here though, especially if Bean's marking him and finds a preemptive hook. Oh, uses the E, so he have to flash in if he wants to look for the steal.
Oh, gets the
he comes back up in time, actually.
Volibear gets it.
Smites early, though, and nice secure by Jonah. Very, very patient there by Jonah. Doesn't panic when he sees Mason in the pit. Mason smites early, and just a confident secure by the volley bear.
Yeah, I mean, good stuff from One Thief there. Just, playing. They know they have the advantage there, so just force it. And, yeah, I mean,
Taxi finds the turret bot lane, but as I just said before Nishan died, you have no teleports on the side of Big Bananas, so it's really difficult for you to ever, get a good macro position in the side lanes. And I think where we're at item-wise now, Syndra is now pretty comfortable playing against the Zoe. All it takes is like one full Syndra combo to one-shot Zoe, whereas in the early game, Zoe's the only one that has that kind of threatening damage.
Mason is going to see his blue buff get stolen away right in front of his eyes. Syndra is getting a nice chunk to Mason there.
Yeah, we have Dragon's Soul coming up in 8 seconds. I think you have to fight this if you are Big Bananas, but it's so hard to walk in here. You're just walking right into a Blitzcrank.
And the Kites W is raining down, chunking people down. Syndra gets a really big chunk against Mason there. Big Bananas is looking to try and walk in, but the Dragon, it does fall, meaning Soul goes down for One Thief. Scout of the Week catches Darius, flashes in from Volibear, but Blitzcrank Coach pulls him right back. And yeah, looks like we are just going to use this advantage to just push down this turret. Not much we can do here. Looks like they might be going for a crazy flank play. I don't know, but turret should just die.
Hook barely goes wide.
No, eat the hook.
And it's just so hard to even defend against the siege, and in this type of game state, Zoe struggles really hard. If your team's not like pushing the tempo, Zoe's not a very good champion when you're kind of stuck in your base, and it's just going to be really difficult for them to defend this Baron push.
Mason's sitting on no mana here, just has to leave. I mean, Baron plus Infernal Soul, I mean, you just have to sit so far back that these turrets, just fall, and One Thief is just going to wrap around potentially to midway here, potentially to back. Yeah, looks like we're backing, and then resetting for just a IATBA classic 1-3-1 with Shen's TP up. Actually, looks like we have Kaisa going mid, so it'll be a 4-1 with the Shen. But it's just, I mean, Big Bananas is in such a tough spot here. Not sure better win condition back into this game, but if anyone's going to find it, I trust these guys.
Yeah, it's really hard to kind of envision the win condition. I think you have to hope that you can, maybe find a pick, but.
Well, I think One Thief heard that and took it as advice.
It's so hard. It's just so hard at this point. Like, I mean, I think Sarvis was like 1-5 at a certain point in this game, but just so comfortable on this champion, gets his items, is able to scale, and when he groups up with the team, you can't really dive him.
All right, looks like we're trying for a play, but
dead here. Can't even use the Echo ultimate there, and
this is the
flash
comp,
in.
but dies anyway.
And this should most likely just be the game.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just gonna pick up the second inhibitor. Who needs minions? I guess we're putting down the control word, why not? Zoe's looking for a bubble, is gonna miss. And we're just gonna walk out again. Look like we're okay, yeah, just gonna all back. Baron is spawning in 2 minutes, Elders in 3 minutes. It really is just so tough. We're just, buying time, or not even buying time, we're just wasting away time getting these turrets until the next objective spawns. I do believe Baron is down. And so, how do I? Side advantage is definitely down, but with the nearly 1,000 gold lead, it's just sort of a pray you find someone caught out, whereas One Thief can just sort of walk together in a death ball and bully Big Bananas out.
Looks like they're just gonna be patient, go for the Baron, then end the game.
Yeah, I mean, we're just sitting in the jungle. If anyone walks up, it's they're definitely waiting for them on a silver platter. Darius, meanwhile, might be the first victim and decides to get it at the very last second. Might still be caught out though. Eden should just be dead here to Kaisa with the Infernal buff. I mean, it's super tough. Nishan is gonna fall next. Volibear ult dropping. Dave
flashing in on him.
Yeah, I mean, Will doesn't even have 2 full items yet. Blitzcrank flashing on the Echo. That is going to be another death. where you're not able to R.
Unlucky.
And it's just up to the 2-item Yunara and Zoe to give the wave here, which is to say this looks like a closing to the chapter of Game 2 for Big Bananas.
Yeah, nice bounce back.
Yeah. I mean, we were obviously doubting the draft strategy of sticking with the game side you lost on, and what they proved us wrong on that. I'm curious to see if Big Bananas then, in turn, is going to say, you know what, we won on blue side or on red side game 1, we picked it, or if they are going to potentially switch around that strategy, seeing the power of this Volibear champion.
To see them go for the blue side and potentially look to steal away the Volibear for themselves. I think Mason's been a very good Volibear player so far this season.
Yeah. Who would you like to give MVP to for this game 2?
I would actually like to hear your answer first because I'm not too certain.
I will note real quick that One Thief did, or Big Bananas did take red side again. So for me, honestly, I think it's between Jonah, Dave, and Bean. I think definitely the Blitzcrank is a little bit, under the radar. There is a really big part of the reason why a lot of these early plays worked out. But Dave was the one actually doing the damage, and then Jonah just had some really crazy plays. I mean, he got that steal early on the Herald, and just found so many good engages. If I'm gonna give it to anyone, it's I'd probably give it to Jonah, but I could definitely see any of the good answers.
I think ultimately I'd probably lean Blitzcrank. I mean, Bean gave them a kill at like level 1. Yeah. It was just, they dominated the lane to the point where, I mean, that game was just bot gap, like just straight up. I didn't think bot lane could lose harder than they lost in game 1, and then they lost like twice as hard. So to me, it'd probably be the Blitzcrank or Dave, but I think ultimately Blitzcrank kind of set Dave up the majority of that game.
Mm-hmm. As a support player, I'm definitely a proponent of giving it to the support. I feel like a lot of times supports go under the radar of just like making plays. I will absolutely be a fan of giving that to Bean.
Perfect. Yeah, but so as you said, Big Bananas chose to stick with the red side. They found a lot of value in that counter pick game 1 with the set. In game 2, the Darius just didn't really get off the ground in the same way the set did. I mean, he generated a sizable advantage through farm and a kill, but nowhere near the advantage he found in game 1. So perhaps, I assume they're going to hold counter pick for top again. Perhaps they can try to find a matchup that it would get a little bit more advantage. But we're already in draft, guys, and It's same exact bans for One Thief, but a switch up on the side of BB. They're going to ban Blitzcrank instead of, I'm trying to remember who they were banning.
It was Smolder.
The Ornn. They left the Ornn open.
Yes, okay. So we are seeing the Volibear come down again as expected. The Yunara is going to come down. I'm not sure if we're going to do the Kais again to contest that, but I guess we'll feel strongly at the pick, which we've seen him have very good performances on it. My own team banded against him, so
I do think the Twitch went well enough though to where I'd probably lean just taking your Twitch again, but I don't think that Yunara, gonna stick with Yunara. I don't think that Yunara game was indicative of, Will's potential on that champ, has shown a lot greater performances. Perhaps they're saying, we ban away Blitzcrank, we're fine. That's the read maybe, is you don't have Blitzcrank, we're okay. We will see if that holds true. I would hope that Bean just chooses to go for a similarly kind of aggressive pick here, perhaps something like a Nautilus. I don't know if Bean has a Thresh in his bag, but something aggressive again. Bean does like Rel a lot, but I think Rel can be hard to play into Milio. But we do just obviously see Camazot's taking his Ornn. And what I would then like to see is grab Nishan his counter here on red 3 before the bans come through. Set and Mbessa have been getting banned in the second phase, I believe. So maybe you can get one of those and give Taxi the last pick. But Sarverus... Okay, not just going to take the Syndra again. Wouldn't even have hated that either, but... Gwen is a pretty good matchup into Ornn, if my knowledge is correct on that. I would actually like this pick a lot for Nishan. And that's most likely what it's going to be. Obviously, it can be a flex, but I would expect they're going to hold last pick for mid lane here. So we'll probably see jungle on 4.
I'm kind of surprised seeing Dave on the Ezreal here. It's not normally something that I associate with him. I'm not sure if he has a lot of experience on it.
I think he's a good Ezreal player from what I've heard, but I don't believe I've necessarily seen him play it. So I'm excited to see that. Um, that tells me that perhaps Bean's going to go for a little bit more of a roaming support and say, Dave, you'll be okay if I leave lane, which I think based on how the series has gone, that is true.
What if, wouldn't Alistar be good here?
Right now. Yeah, and Alistar probably would be good here.
Looks like we are, because I see some discussion in chat of potentially the Gwen jungle. Looks like it is almost certainly top here based on the picks we're seeing. Nocturne.
I think it should be the Gwen top personally.
Yeah, I mean I think it's a super strong matchup into the Ornn. Just melts the tank. Definitely an iconic Mason champion here on the Wukong.
Yeah, Mason's a good Wukong player. Kind of a squishy draft though. Wukong's not a tank. No tank picked, and I doubt Taxi's playing a tank mid, so going to be a very squishy comp. I would like to see Sarvers take a champion here that has a lot of burst potential onto squishy champions from his champion pool. Okay, Bean with the pike lock in. That's aggressive.
Wait a minute.
That's saying, you ban Blitzcrank, I'm going to do it to you anyway. Oh, God, I'm already scared for the level 1 of Big Bananas. They really got to figure out how to play it. We saw a great pike performance out of Psycho Carrot yesterday into Bean, actually. So taking some inspiration there from Psycho Carrot's going to be my narrative. And as we wait for this last pick for Sarverus, Ari, very safe blind. I think it plays well. It has a lot of dive protection, can get away from the Wukong and the Gwen, and can follow up champions like Volibear and Pike very effectively. But Taxi with the R5 mid here, need to see a really good champion to round out his comp.
Are we seeing the Rise? I mean, his account used to be Reisenberg, it's a pretty iconic pick.
I'm not sure about the Rise here. I think we'll see if that's what he's going to lock in. It is. Okay. The Rise scales well this game to the point where it can make it really hard for Ari, but I think in the early mid game, I really like One Thief's comp, and then they still do have a fair amount of scaling with Ezreal and with Ornn, obviously. I don't know. Pretty fun drafts, but I will say, I hate to say this, and I hope this doesn't come true, but nothing is going to matter if bot lane gets smashed as hard as it has the first two games. It's really on Will and Eden to level up this third game and just. You don't have to win lane against Dave and Bean. No one is asking you to do that. But you got to be able to, at least stay even enough to where you can get through that. Because I like what they have for the solo lanes. Rise and Gwen should both end up winning out on that solo lane matchups super hard as you get into the later game. But it's just not going to matter if Ezreal and Pike get fed, because there's not actually that good of threat onto Ezreal on the side of One Thief. Ezreal is one of the few ADCs that can pretty easily keep himself safe from champions like Wukong and Gwen. So it's imperative to me for Will and Eden to really step it up in this third game.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a bit of a do or die moment for that bot lane. Excited to see. We can talk about some of the matchups here. We don't have much data for any of them. Except the Volibear has been 2-0 against the Wukong, with the Wukong notably having a higher KDA than the Volibear in those matchups. And then Gwen and Ornn having an even KDA, but Gwen taking 5 of those 7 matches. We can also look at the season records of these champions, where for stuff we haven't seen, most champions are fairly even. Ornn has had quite a good season. And otherwise, most picks are pretty much just 50-50. Pike's had a bit of a rough season, looking at, KDA and 3 wins to 5 losses. But I'm definitely excited to see Bean on that pick. And then past performance on these champions. Mason, like I said, has had an insane Wukong history, 16-9 on the champion. Taxi is 5-4. Dave on the Ezreal is 1-2, but has had a very good KDA, looking to improve that. And so, yeah, I think that definitely seeing some champions that you guys are quite comfortable on. notably the Wukong Volibear Ornn. But definitely a lot of exciting new stuff as well. And Eden on Leo. I don't know, I think it's kind of weird looking at drafts here. Assuming that, this Ezreal Pyke are able to get, a few kills on the Ezreal, it's just gonna be able to have so much map pressure with these roams. I think it puts one thief kind of in control of the tempo of the game, which is not the position you want to be on in game 3 as Big Bananas, but I definitely believe in their ability to take that back their own ways.
Yeah, I think we're set up for a pretty fun one. I do think I like the Gwen as the answer. I think it's got a little more potential than the Darius does to be able to carry into the mid and late game, even if your bot lane has a little bit of trouble, because the side lane threat of Gwen becomes so oppressive, and especially if does manage to get a lead, I think it could be really difficult for both Volibear and Ornn to really deal with the Gwen. And I know I've seen Nishan play really good Gwen performances, so I like that for them. And again, you end up with double counter picks for their solo lanes, which is great. It's just going to come down, as I've said, how is this Ezreal Pyke going to fare? Like, Pyke's a champion that can win lane from level 1 in the same way that Blitzcrank would, and it's going to be really critical for them to, hold on. Wukong, it was Mason's answer into the Volibear. I believe when you showed the champion matchups, it actually was maybe like 0-2 into Volibear on the season records. I think Volibear's a little bit stronger than Wukong is right now, but you also see Mason's stats on Wukong were like 16-9, so a really comfortable champion for him. Jonah now 8-1 on the Volibear, a great response game by him, and kind of a fun. Well, I like seeing Jonah Volibear. Seeing Jonah first pick Volibear 3 games in a row, a little boring, but at the same time, it's one of Mason's best champions. So I think denying it from him while getting one of your best champions is a no-brainer. So I think that's been intelligent by them, and we'll just see if staying on red side was the correct play, or if perhaps switching it up would have been better. Not to have results-based analysis, but if Jonah comes back and has another really good Volibear game, I think you might have questioned, maybe we should have tried to take that away from him.
Right. I do think it's interesting, the idea of game 1 and 2 we did have Taxi blinding, where, well, I guess no, game 2 Sarv did blind early, but we did save the red 5 for top lane, whereas this time we decided to mix it up. We picked the Gwen in the first half of draft, and then saved Taxi for that last pick. So that could have been the strategy in their back pocket. So it'll be interesting to see how that pick plays out. And we are loading into game here, so I will change the stream. All right. I'll be interested to see. I mean, with a Pyke, I feel like there's definitely a lot of pressure that you can exert in like an early invade scenario. So we'll have to see if they decide to pull that out. And it looks like, in fact, it's the opposite. And it is
5-man bot. Perhaps if they're able to find some threat onto the Ezreal or the Pyke, maybe you can alleviate some pressure for Will and Eden that way. But Dave positioning very safely up in that bush, not really going to be able to find anything. It does not appear. Runes, very standard, I believe. Volibear, I believe, gone for press the attack this game, when I think previously maybe had gone for the lethal tempo.
Yeah.
Ahri has has electrocute, but opted to go for teleport instead of ignite, which I think makes a ton of sense here. Pyke with the hail of blades plus ignite, looking to be super, super aggressive.
Yeah, and we are back to the 2v2 teleport.
Yes. Yeah, I think not having teleports hurt them a lot last game, which, I mean, I don't hate it because I think both those champions really prefer not to have teleport, but It's so hard to play the game with one teleport, let alone having 0.
Yeah, and
Which
I mean,
really limits your macro.
Yeah, Zoe did get a lot of advantage out of those ignites, but then wasn't really able to convert that lead into anything. Once the Kaisa started, playing so far back in these fights. We did have Big Bananas bot lane with a bit of the trying to find bush camp. Pyke is going in, gonna drop the ignite on Yunara, and Yunara is gonna go down to like half. Pyke is taking a big trade, but with that black health passive should be restoring at least a good bit of it up. Yunara is stuck at that level. No healing from well, I guess that's for the heal, so which was already used. No healing for Emilio, except for W.
You'd have to really be careful here. When Bean hits level 2, he has flash up. Could look to do something really aggressive.
Oh, and he hits the Yunara. Yunara flashes out, but Ezreal's still gonna pick up the kill, and Emilio also he is forced to flash out. But I mean, yeah.
At a certain point, just give up some damn farm and send her to the turret. I hate to be like that, but 3 games in a row we've died at level 1 or 2.
That's my
really tough. Bean's on point this series.
Yeah, I mean, if he shouts out that guy. We're seeing a nice trade from Daxi here. Is down a good bit of mana, but chunks starve a little bit. I am excited to see the Camazot's Ornn here. Definitely, one of his most comfortable champions. Is picking it into a counter matchup, I believe, but we've seen a lot of really strong Ornn players in server, so I'm excited to see a new one cement his legacy.
Yeah, I will say, it's not going to be the first time Camazotz has played Ornn into counters this season, and I specifically recall, in their week 1, he played into Scott Pilgrims, who counterpicked him with Nasus, and Camazotz actually ended up having a really nice game, even into the counter matchup. So sometimes comfort is king, and yeah, I'm definitely excited to see how he's able to do here into the Gwen.
All right, we do see Jonah is contesting on Wukong here. Sarv is going to take a bit of a route there.
Yeah, but Pyke is here critically.
Flashes, I guess. That was an interesting flash.
Pyke could find a hook here.
Wukong is slowed, and the Pyke hits. That was a hook of all time. I cannot believe that landed.
You see, you win your lane at level 2, and now you start roaming around the map, and that's the danger of the Pyke pick, and just really well played to Bean. I'm sure Mason would not have gone in had he realized Pyke was going to be there, and just they punish him. And now Jonah's top with Pyke.
Oh my god. And okay, Ornn flashes, forces the Gwen flash. The E is going to miss from Pyke. Wait, Pyke lives here on like 50 health. Gwen is not going to pick it up. Yeah, living here on 80 health. We do have Mason looking here. Pyke is not very useful here. He's gonna cancel
Bean cancels his base.
Hopefully he can find a good E here on... Okay, and just dies before it goes off. Jonah dies. That was not what you want to see. Camazotz should live here. Mason is going to take a turret shot, but that was really, really greedy. Should have just let the back go through.
I think Camazotz was out there too.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's really big for Big Bananas. They really needed that to come through, and now you're very happy. You get a kill into the jungle. You get a kill into the top lane. And critically, it was a great level 2 by Bean, and while I think the roaming plays were fine, what they have allowed is Will to, comfortably get to level 4 and comfortably have some farm. But he's back, and that's feats of warfare. So as soon as Bean shows back up, it's another good play bot. And with the wave pushing into him, this is going to be impossible for Will to play this out. I mean, he cannot walk up to hit this wave, or else you're just going to die to Bean. Really tough spot for Yunara.
We do have Sarv looking on Taxi here. Pyke is following. He's going to hit that slow.
Oh!
He is going to miss, and Mason goes in. Pyke is going to live
Mason
here.
goes in there, though. Should be fine.
Yeah, that's definitely, Pyke, obviously very strong, a lot of kill pressure. He's one of the squishiest champions in the whole game, and so if you miss anything, it just, your health bar just disappears instantly. We are, it looks like, just going to pick up the Drake here, which the direct camera does not care about whatsoever. And then looks like we do have potentially, yeah, okay, no, nothing bot, but Pyke is sitting in the bush.
Yeah, farm is fairly even. I mean, it's even in mid, even in jungle, favoring Gwen, favoring Ezreal, but nowhere near as detrimental as we saw some of the advantages in previous games so far.
Right, Pyke is going to be knocked back there. Inara is going to send it back out here.
I do think as Eden gets more points in the Q, the little ball that knocks you backwards on the Milio, I do think that is somewhat of a good answer into Pyke. I believe it can actually cancel out his E dash.
Yeah.
So perhaps as more levels come through on Milio, it's be a little bit easier for them to play that lane out. But I mean, Dave is just so comfortable, 2-0, farming really well. And as we've already discussed, it's going to be hard to find threat onto the Ezreal.
And I think one thing to note about this Ezreal CS lead is that Ezreal's been alone for like half the game so far. And that is one of the strengths of this Ezreal pick, is letting, you know, if you get a little bit of a lead, or even if you don't, if you can support this, go wherever, help the team while you maintain a lead that or you know, stop some bleeding. Looks like we do have Pyke roaming up for Grubs here. Emilio is hanging out bot lane. Ezreal's also walking top, and we see Emilio as well following. It looks like, though, One Thief is going to get the first grub here. I'm not sure Big Nez is going to walk into stop it with Ezreal coming especially.
They get Ahri ult out. You kind of just want to back up until that runs out.
Yeah, I mean, we are going to get the third grub here, and Mason... Oh, Pyke flashing in.
Flashed in by Beam.
He's going to die, but no, yeah, Pyke just kind of had a really unfortunate flash there. They are going to be able to pick up a kill for it.
Taxi's
ulting.
like 1v4 here almost, but
Eden is going to drop there to Dave.
Dave with a triple. Flash in by Sarv.
I don't know why. There's no follow-up. Yunar is free got here.
Yunara gets a plate, but I don't know. I mean, that's just a straight-up 5v4. And
yeah, I mean, a plate for 3 grubs is not necessarily something that you want to see.
No, I don't even think they necessarily played that fight bad on the side of Big Bananas. I think they did a good job of punishing Bean when he flashed in. But just down a man, Dave was 2-0. Now he's 5-0.
Yeah. And somehow still upset in the Inara.
Yeah. You know, critically, Will is staying a lot more even in farm, though, than he did last game. Gonna be behind just off the kill gold, but you know, if Yunara can get to the items, I still think with your side lane power that BB's comp will have, you know, it'll be a little more manageable than last game. Gwen's gonna get a plate here.
It'd be a little bit sticky for Gwen. I mean,
What's there to really punish her, so we'll just get out. Gets a second plate there. Pretty good.
Yeah. All right, we do have Pyke looking for a bit of a roam play here. Ezreal did get a wave under, and so Pyke is taking that as an advantage to potentially look for a play mid. Although at this point Ezreal is you know, nearly at a full item. Definitely easily going to farm, especially with the use of that ult. And so
Pyke just hanging around mid here too.
Yeah, I mean, Big Banana's bot lane is certainly screaming and shouting, "Pyke's missing, Pyke's missing!" And so it looks like Taxi is playing pretty safely here, while they are getting top, which should result in a kill. I mean, Ornn has flash here, but it's not worth it. He has flash,
but I don't think you can live that. Yeah.
Ezreal picks up a solo kill 1v2, as one does, as one does.
Good lord.
Yeah, Pyke wasn't able to get anything there, but Ezreal just said, "Who cares? I don't need the support. What support?"
Yeah, it's such a nice gank top by Mason, but Ezreal finds a solo kill. Like, that's just absurd.
Yeah. He's going to back and pick up first item here. Should be that Trinity Force. And Yeah, I mean, Pike is a little bit... I mean, Pike does have 6 now. Does have these symbiotic souls. Is able to find a lot of places around the map, but hasn't found much in a while. Is down that flash, which makes plays a bit harder to look for.
Jonah went back for the Cosmic Drive this game. You know, one item power spikes coming in through on most players. Taxi with a pretty good time Rod of Ages. That'll help him out a lot. Mason on the Triforce really strong. Will looking like he's going for the Blade of the Ruin King Yunara build this game. Not quite there yet. Once that comes through, that will be a pretty nice power spike.
We've
they're
seen 3
choosing to
different
start
Yunara
this
builds.
dragon. I think this is dangerous, but Ornn does not have TP. It's going to be 5v4 in the favors of Big Bananas this time around. What
But
can they
Ezreal's
do
so
with the man
strong.
advantage? And with the man advantage, great recognition by, I think, One Thief there to recognize, oh, Gwen is not top lane. We do not want this fight, even with Ezreal being so strong.
All right, so 12 minutes in, we do have 3 grubs inside of One Thief, 50-50 dragons. What soul do we have? We have Cloud Soul coming up, which I don't know, I think that's like really strong for One Thief, but definitely also good for Big Bananas. I don't know. This is so tough. Like, Ezreal is such a threat in this bot lane that Pike can just keep looking for places around the map. Although with this lead that Gwen has gotten, I mean, we're up over 1,000 gold. Definitely makes it easier to get vision control on that side of the map.
And I mean, that's
another
just
kill.
another kill.
Oh,
Oh,
Will
great
flashes it.
flash!
He should just die to here. Wow, never mind.
Oh my God, no, we're just...
Will's also dead to the ignite. Oh my God.
That almost hit.
Wow.
Oh my God. A really, really good flash there by Will to
Yes.
deny Pike the reset. That's so critical for them. They really needed something to work, but that was so close to Dave just trading them back anyways.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really patched with Will there. Emilio's just trying to defend his turret. I'm not sure.
Oh,
what
he's
much you
going
can
in!
do. Oh, flashing with a Q kills. Holy! He knew his damage is insane. I would have never guessed.
God.
I mean, yeah,
Dave's
E
just
plus
styling
Qs.
on them at this point.
Yeah,
I mean,
7-0.
once you're fed on the Ezreal, it's kind of what you expect, but just absolute masterclass on this champion right now. And I always love seeing great Ezreal gameplay. Definitely one of the coolest AD carries, in my opinion.
All right, we do have
Critically, Pike is going to be here, though.
Jason is getting pulled in. Volibear is
That
dying,
Gwen damage is
though.
massive,
Gwen
though.
flashes to kill him.
Ezreal's
Pike
on his way.
is flashing out. Big Bananas
It's a
not
run
have
angle.
ults.
Ezreal's there. It's a run angle.
Jason's going back in to kill the Pike, but I don't know if it's...
Yeah, the reinforcements have shown up for Big Bananas, so even though Ezreal is there, once these other members come through, it's not quite enough.
Oh! Ornn flashes
Dang.
and dies
Dies
anyway.
even after the flash. I'm not sure what did the final tick of damage there, but manages to get him. And
Yeah,
I mean,
One
it's
Thief did
8-8,
lose a lot there.
7 kills on Dave. Like, Dave is fed, but, you know, to be fair, it's an even gold state now, and you love having a strong Ezreal, but you also love having your gold pretty evenly spread.
Yeah, I mean, having gold
Sarver's
on...
looking aggressive here. Just not able to find the critical skill shots there.
Big Bananas does notably have gold on the Wukong and the Gwen, two champions who are insane in team fights. Ezreal is definitely strong in team fights, but in a pretty different way than those two, who look to find engages, look to find plays, can get a lot of damage and a lot of people on CC down. So it'll be interesting to see how those match up. Pike has not found plays in a while. They had a really strong start, but has been struggling a lot recently. I mean, at this point, still doesn't even have just as a Dark and a Caulfield's Hammer with boots.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I think the way the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game went for Pike were absolutely amazing, but as you said, has struggled since then.
We do have Drake spawning
really think-
in a minute here.
I want to see Ari get involved in some plays.
Yeah.
I feel like they haven't been playing towards Starburst at all, and when you pick Ari, it's
Gwyn
a
just takes
champion you
turret.
want to be playing towards. Oh, Nishan just
Oh no!
Oh my God! Why are we greedy? Just wait for the wave there. That's a little unfortunate. Just really disrespected Camazotz. Figured he could just kill the turret fast enough, but I mean Camazotz is gonna always stun you there under the tower, and that's a little bit of a freebie. You didn't have to give over. Really nice job capitalizing on that punish for the side of One Thief.
Yeah, so Gwen will be up 10 seconds, or 12, 15 seconds, 10 seconds for Drake, which is in 30. And does have teleport, but I feel like it's just such a, just very greedy. Looks like we are flashing away from,
oh, they're gonna go. Oh my goodness! Mason just kind of styled on being there, even with the dash, is not able to get away. Really good job, using his W preemptively to predict where Bean was gonna dash to. Yeah, that's a really good turn by the side of the Ryze and the Wukong there, 2v3. But as I was saying before, I really want to see them get involved with Ahri in some plays. If you pick Ahri, she's so good following up on a champion like Volibear, like a champion like Pyke, and I just don't feel like they've really been trying to play around Cerberus so far this time. Rift Herald is just driving into the middle of the team fight. That's insane.
Big Bananas is going to be able to pick up that second Drake there pretty uncontested after the pick of the Pyke. Sarv is a little bit extended here, is just going to ult away. And that Herald should be able to be crashed. This hit's going to
go through, and I think it is.
Is Herald distracted?
What's it aggroing? Did it crash? I couldn't even tell.
Looks like it didn't. I don't know
it
why.
Doesn't crash because it ran into the wall.
I feel like Gwen just hopped in though, right?
No, because you ran into the wall, it's not going to crash until it, I believe, resets on a turret kill. So.
Oh wow.
That's why we didn't see the crash there. But I mean, we're in a really exciting game state right now. 9-9, only like a 4 or 5K gold lead for the side of One Thief, with the majority of that being on Dave. I mean, this is just setting up for a really exciting one, which is what you love to see. There's been a lot of great series so far this season, but not really that many close game threes, and this is just setting up to be an excellent one.
We do have bot lanes who are hitting mid here. I mean, yeah, like you said, with under 1,000 gold, it's just so tough. I mean, I feel like Ezreal has a really tough time, as the sole, power point in these fights.
Yeah, it's going to be hard if they're fully relying on Dave. That's why I think you really need to give Cerberus a little bit of help. Try to give him a little bit of an advantage so that he can be a secondary damage threat in these team fights. But, Dave is on 2 items right now with the stacked Muramana. At this point of the game, his damage is probably enough if you play the team fights correctly. But just Gwen and the Ryze are going to continue to really pressure these side lanes. I do think you prefer to have Gwen into Ornn and Ryze into Ahri, so I don't think these lane assignments are absolutely ideal for Big Bananas, and you see the ability that they can just use Ezreal's poke to pressure Yunara off and take a mid turret. But, overall, both teams still pretty happy with this game state, trying to find whatever they consider to be their next best play.
We just look at, we have a little bit of downtime. We look at some items. Yunara has completed the Blade of the Rune King. That is the 3rd Yunara build in 3 different games.
If he can force out the... Okay, good patience there by Cerberus not to just immediately panic blow his ultimate. Might actually be able to look for a kill here with his ultimate. The double Q is going to hit.
Gwen is also dropping her R, but Ahri is unfortunately out of charges, and so we're going to walk away without casualties.
Dude, Gwen healing is absurd. The fact that he doesn't go down there is pretty wild. I thought that was well played by Cerberus, but the ultimate healing of Gwen is just so big.
I also do want to note that Volibear has gone back to the Cosmic Drive Flicker Blade build.
Yep. No team really is eager to just start an Otacon this time around. I think it's going to be really hard for either team to start Otacon, because if One Thief starts it and their tanks are getting hit with all that shred, it's going to make it so easy for Wukong and Gwen to really get in there. But if Big Bananas starts it, Ezreal's just going to poke you to oblivion on the side of the fight. And so I think it's going to be difficult for any team to really start Otacon without finding 1 or 2 picks ahead of time.
Speaking of,
which they're looking, but not gonna try to pick the org. Taxi critically has the completed Archangel staff and is at 9 stacks on the Rod of Ages. That should go over to 10 very, very soon. Rise is exactly where you want to be at this game state. Farmed really, really well. Yeah, has 10 now. Really strong on this Rise pick. Is actually really durable, really tanky. Gonna be hard for him to go down in fights if he's managing to dodge like abilities such as the Charm, such as the Pike Hook.
We do have the Cloud Drake spawning in 50 seconds here. Both teams are looking to set up vision for it. We do have Ornn and Rise in the top lane, both at TP. But yeah, Rise is definitely closing down Ornn. Big Banana is resetting leading up to the Drake, which means I think it'll be a pretty tough spot to walk back in on. Especially, you know, with an Ahri and a Pike, it's kind of hard to walk into the bushes if they know you backed.
Yeah, they are continuing to stick with these lane assignments of the Rise into the Ornn. I would like to see Big Bananas try to switch that up at some point. I really think Gwen is going to have more threat onto the Ornn than the Rise does. Looks like they may be looking for it now. That, or they're just going to see if they can... Oh, yeah, they're on Dragon. Perhaps they're just going to choose to start the Otacon here, although it's going to take a while to take it down.
Not on it.
Yeah, Yunara's not there. Will's going to have to be really careful here not to just get picked.
Gets hit by the Ezreal.
Great poke by Dave, and Pike is looking...
Ahri's TPing in behind, going for this sort of flank play. And Mason does
they secure it.
Rise ults out, and...
Oh,
I mean, Gwen's left behind. There is still a turret up, though, and so nothing even happens. Wow. I mean, yeah, that was really, really good from the Big Bananas there. Just recognizing there was this tension around Dragon and just saying, nope, we're going to
get this turret, though. Nishan's choosing to fight this and just gets immediately blown up. I'm not sure why, you know, Big Bananas, I really liked the play. I really liked the ultimate out, but, you know, take your opportunity to reset. That's why you ulted out, because you didn't want the fight.
Gonna eat Ezreal or Volidarky with the clone, but is this gonna die to Ahri clone?
Oh, it's a huge knockup by Camazotz!
And then Volibear goes in to follow up on it. And nobody dies for it though. That was a 2-for-1 fight with the Pike dying and the Gwen and Wukong dying in exchange. I don't know why Gwen died. It could have just been Wukong, but
yeah, that's so. I'm like tilted. I'm not even in the game right now. I thought that was such a good Otacon play. Why did you stick around and fight? Like, you ulted out because you knew you needed to run, or else you would have just taken the fight in the first place. And then Nishan dies. That's even more of a reason to run, but they choose to fight. I don't get that. Overall, I don't think it's too damaging, but really, really doesn't make sense to me there. Now the gold lead ends up being a little bit more like 3K in the side of One Thief. And yeah, 2-2 on Dragons. They did get the Otacon for Big Bananas. Gold lead still fairly close. Will does critically now have his second item completed, as well as upgraded boots. But just going to see what these next plays are. And you do get out Gwen's ult there.
And that should just be a dead
Gwen.
And Pike
drops the ult. Yeah. A little bit disrespectful there, choosing to stick around. And that's, you know, a couple unfortunate deaths for Nishan in a row right there. Does still have his flash for the next play. That's pretty critical, but I think you just need to take a deep breath if you're Big Bananas right now and try to reset your lane assignments, play for your split push. Again, I'd really like to see them match the Rise into the Ahri. I don't know why we're not doing that.
The Rise
we're TPing now.
I'm not sure what we're looking for exactly.
I mean, I think he just recognizes that's where he needs to be.
I feel like it's just kind of like who's matching the Ornn now.
Well, Gwen's going to be up in 3 seconds.
Wait, so Taxi teleported down and then backed immediately. Okay.
Oh, they're going to look for a pick onto the Ornn here. No flash on Camazotz critically. This is probably going to be a kill.
Yeah, I mean,
nice job by Mason. Makes it really hard for him to get the ult off, but dead regardless. And we'll see if they're able to, you know, look for a Baron. It's still going to be hard to look for Baron because you have Ezreal alive with 3 items now, but as you see that damage he's just putting onto Taxi, that's over half your health bar, bud. Make that your Seraphs, too.
Looks like we do have potentially a flank play here from Big Bananas. Gwen is taking a bit of a longer route though, and looks like not going to meet up with the Wukong.
Yeah, Wukong no ult here. I really don't think you can ever threaten the Ezreal if the Wukong ult is enough.
We do have, like I said, Baron up. Drake is spawning in just over a minute. We do have even Drakes.
Critically, though, I want to point out, you use the teleport of Taxi to go bot, and then you use the teleport of Nishan to pick Ornn. Now, neither player has teleport with Dragon coming up in a minute. They're trying to see if Nishan's going to disrespect his positioning again. This time, Will wisely back up, but if Nishan doesn't just back and start coming to Dragon, you're not going to have him there. Perhaps they're going to see if they can look to trade a Baron for a Dragon like they did with the Otacon, but okay, he is going to back now, so we may be setting up for a pretty exciting 5v5 here that could really determine the game, because if one team wins this fight decisively, it could immediately turn into a Baron.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like we are going to have a fight here. I mean, we have all 10 members of the map heading towards this objective. In terms of vision, it looks like One Thief does have that sort of vision line through the river, which might make it a bit hard for Big Bananas to walk in. Although that scuttle that Mason is currently working on will help clear that up.
Critically, they do get the crab, but critically as well, they're starting. I don't think they want to choose to start it yet because you don't have flashes on Ryze and Yunara. If you can stall this out until those flashes come back up, that could be so big for your fight. But they are choosing to just start it anyway. You're going to have to track those no flashes.
Dragon is getting half health.
Oh, they forced out Sarver's ultimate already.
Jonah is looking to go in here. Yunara is going to get the Drake. Jonah is going to fall. Bean is going to fall. And looks
they got the root on the tap. They got the root on the
Dave. Okay, no, just 3.
Oh, and Gwen's able to chase him down. That's a wipe.
Yeah, it's just Arya remaining.
Not quite. Arya alive, but
it's like you said. If there was a decisive fight, you get Drake and you get Baron. And it looks like Big Bananas is fulfilling that prophecy. After this Baron, they are actually going to be up or even in gold. And with these combined buffs, I mean putting them on soul point and getting them Baron. And Baron push on Ryze split push with teleport is it puts One Thief in a really, really rough backfoot position.
Yeah, that fight just started so rough for them. Like, Ari had to blow flash immediately out because of some really nice pressure by Mason to, kind of threaten Sarverus, blew his ult, and that forces One Thief to kind of feel like, oh, Ari ult's already ticking, we have to fight now. You get the secure, Jonah with this build is squishy, gets blown up, and then they just used everything to get Dave. I mean, Wukong went on to him, Gwen followed his flash over the wall, Taxi started it off with a really nice root, and yeah, I also thought it was a really nice job by Taxi, I believe it was Taxi, to kind of just be zoning Dave off from ever really being able to join the fight in the first place, kept zoning him with his positioning, and ended up finding the route that ultimately kind of let them find their first kill on the Dave's Ezreal. And now with Baron, we've already talked about how the side lane matchups are going to favor the Big Bananas composition, and with Baron it becomes more so. Although perhaps we're just caught.
Okay, we are committing 3 ults to it.
Oh, it's so close. They do end up having to blow Volibear's flash there just to make sure that he lives, and they are going to get another dragon, or no, excuse me, another turret.
Ryze for ulting top lane? Yeah.
These are some really great Ryze ults this game, by the way. Like, they used the one on Otacon that, the fact that they went back in, whatever. They still used it really effectively to get away. They used it to get to the Baron faster, and then I love this ult right there to reposition the top lane and start pressuring that lane fast as well. And Taxi, deathless on this game right now. Got to shout that out. Both mid laners deathless, actually, which is kind of interesting considering how this game's been pretty bloody, but Taxi playing extremely well on the Ryze pick, which is, as we've said, what you need out of an R5.
Might be getting a bit caught here, though, by Pyke. He's going to dodge the hook.
Is going to get out, and again, that's Sarver's ultimate.
Mason's coming in from the back line. We do have the Gwen teleporting in from base. Mason is going to find so much CC.
Taxi flashed in on Dave there!
Is that game?
Taxi just... Oh my god!
Wow.
That was absurd by Taxi.
Oh, wow.
That's one of the best Rise plays I've seen. I mean, just absolutely took him out of that final fight. Whoa.
That was so impressive. I mean, Big Bananas really just turned on the Jets.
Yeah, and I do want to say I was very critical of Will and Eden after the last game, which I think was fair. It did start off poorly again with a first death really early, but I mean, Will had one death that game. So yes, Dave had an amazing game, but credit to Will, only died one time, stayed way more even in farm, and did what he needed to do that game. But I mean, who you thinking for MVP?
I mean, it's got to be either Mason or
Taxi.
Taxi, because I mean, those rivals were so unbelievably good.
Yeah, Mason found such good backline access repeatedly, but Taxi's deathless this game, like, and really is what found both of Dave's death are a result of Taxi.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's.
I feel like personally, I got to give it to Taxi.
Let me see the damage. Mason with 20k, Taxi with 17. I'll let you pick. It could be either.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mason would mull if we didn't pick him, and so I'm going to give it to Taxi. And I look into his chat, he is in fact. He said, "High perform, please." But yeah, no, I think that Big Bananas just had a really I feel like the mental fortitude there to keep their head in the game. I feel like that really pivotal play to trade Otacon for Drake really just turned the momentum of the game. Do we want to pull someone in here for an interview?
I think I may be echoing. Am I getting heard twice?
Can anyone confirm or deny? Yeah, Mason's throwing out a lot of VM in Twitch chat. But I guess he deserves it after the win.
Yeah, he is. I'd love to get a little bit of an interview if somebody wants to.
Yeah, Taxi said in Twitch chat he'll interview, so I will bring him along.
I do want to say, like, this was an insanely close series and a really great series. Dave played out of his mind that game. Like, that's one of the best Ezreal performances I have seen. I think it's unfortunate that ultimately he's not able to get a win there because he played so well on the Ezreal that game. Really banger series. Glad I chose to cast this one. I mean, that was awesome. Oh, you're an admin. I think you got to drag someone in.
Wait, the call is just so far away from our call. How do I do it?
I think you can hold them and then pull up.
I can't scroll though. It doesn't scroll.
Drag him into a higher channel and then remove him again.
There are no calls. I'll try to. Here, wait. Let me. I gotta. Certainly, I can. I Discord work. Okay. We're gonna. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Hello.
Oh, they do have admin perks.
After technical difficulties, I figured out how to move you to the right call. How are you feeling after this win?
Listen, man. Like, I'm on top of the world. Like, listen, we just can't win a game 2, okay? Like, that's just how it is. Everybody just understand. Everybody gets their free game 2 after we win game 1. Listen, it's just how it works. Everybody gets their free game 2, okay? Other than MetaBusters, they beat us in game 3. But that honestly, first ever 3-0 in like Scrim Zone history in a best of 3. Like, they 3-0'd us, but other than that series, we're just clutch gods. We got that clutch factor. I'm so proud of my boys.
Yeah, you guys played an absolutely amazing game 3.
Showed a really great series, especially games 1 and 3. Obviously, the Rise in particular. I believe we ultimately gave you MVP in game 3.
Yes.
Walk me through how you felt game 3 was going. I mean, it had to be a little scary when you look down and you see a 7-0 Ezreal.
That champion sucks balls, man. Like, when they locked Ezreal, like, it actually was so relieving because, like, how were we losing game, like, or not losing, like, we didn't lose game 1, but like, how was, like, it's so sus? Hyperscaler 80 carry. What is Ezreal not? He's not that. So when Ezreal was 7-0, I was like, well, shit. And then we kept dying bot lane and game 3, and I was like, shit. Like, but I think it's okay. Like, unironically, the vibe of the call is like, okay, just if we just don't actually make him like 20-0, we will win this series, or like we will win this game. we just like 7-0, that doesn't matter. We're actually chilling. Just make sure that guy is not like 10-0. And after that dragon fight where I found the good like flash, and then we just all went on Ezreal, and when he died and when he was 7-1, I knew we won the series right there. Like that, the game was over.
That was a great play by you. That was a great play, but at the end, I mean, flashing forward into 3 essentially and just soloing Ezreal essentially out of that last fight, that was really impressive, I thought. So I want to give you props there.
Hey, level 18 Rise, like my damage is really high.
Yeah, I felt like they should have played a little bit more towards trying to shut you down. I didn't think they really played very much around the Ahri that game. I thought they could have tried to get him involved a little bit more early, but I don't know. You played that really well. I do have a question. It was a really intelligent Otacon trade, and then you all ulted out. Why did we go back in?
Okay, why did we go back in? Because Nishan missed the ulti, and then Pyke walked up by himself, and we were like, well, fuck, just flip the fight. Like, I think it's winning. So because we missed the ults with the Gwen, and then we were alone under tower, and we kind of wanted to escort him out, and then as he was not leaving, we were not clicking away from tower. Pyke walked up, and it just turned into World War Z. I thought it was a good ult out, and we would just like get the trade, and we were chilling. But
great ult out.
I was okay. I was okay with the fight because I didn't die.
You had some great, I mean, deathless that game, really impressive. I thought the Zoe game as well, even though you ultimately didn't win. I thought that was an impressive game too. Remind me what you played game 1. I'm like blanking.
The Lux game.
Yeah.
The Lux game.
KO.
Yeah, that was. I was glad we got a little more exciting matchups later, but Lux,
yeah, it was
Lux
definitely
a great game
of
well.
all time.
But I mean, I think Nishan had a pretty insane game 1.
He did.
Set, so
I did a lot of damage that game. Like I didn't think I was doing anything. I thought I was a passenger, and I checked damage charts, and I was like almost as much
you
as
hit some crazy
Nishan did.
Can I, not leaking draft prep or anything, but I know you guys obviously started the series with side select on red side, and then when One Thief decided to continue that trend and took you through a pretty convincing game too, what was your thought process in returning to the red side? Was there a discussion, or did you guys just decide to lock it in immediately?
So basically, why red side is better in this series in specific, I'll just leak all draft. I don't care, man. Like it doesn't matter for this series. It doesn't matter.
Right.
So basically, the trade is Volibear for Yunara. Like post game 1, because we didn't know ball. We didn't know that they had the ball in their court like that. I didn't know they'd play Yunara. So like we didn't prep for that, but we still won that game somehow. But because Nishan's the GOAT, that's why we won actually. But anyways, so like the trade was Volley for Yunara in 2 and 3, and basically our read was that Jonah was not getting very much done on the Volibear. He had some like good flash stuns, especially in game 2, but like it felt a little vegan, and it was like setting up for Mason counterpick. And Mason's like one of the he's a player on our team. That's the adjective I'll use.
Crazy.
And so, but he's usually pretty good with counterpick. So we wanted them to pick the Volibear every game, like. And if they did pick Yunara, then we didn't think they had an answer into Volley, so we were just going to take the Volley. And then we also wanted to be red side because the worst case scenario, draft-wise, is that Sarvis gets his Syndra on red side 3, and then he bans out the Zoe, right? Because I think the counter pick went very well in game 2. But it's just, we're a little too behind. We're just a little too behind. Like Zoe can't it was 1v9 like that.
We can say it. It was a little bit of bot gap in game 2. David Bean
I'm never gonna throw my boys under their bus. They were fighting for their life.
That's what we're here for, buddy.
I thought you played it well.
And Davis did beat the Goliath. Listen, the improvement diff. We improved. So
definitely.
So that's why we prioritized red side, because we didn't want the Syndra on 3 red side into banning out Zoe. I had other picks. I'm not gonna leak those picks, but I had other picks into it, obviously, but like we just didn't want him on comfort. Maybe I'll play LeBlanc. Who knows?
I guess as we're kind of getting towards the halfway point of the season, I guess what are your overall thoughts on your team? Like, how do you rate you guys? Do you feel like y'all improved a lot? Is this kind of what you expected form wise? You think still got a lot of improvement to go? Where are you rating yourself?
The start of the season, our scrim/flex record was 0-14. We did not win a single game in 14 games in scrims and in like and flex. Dardoch was born on that day. The Dardoch memes were born on that day. But we had a game, our 15th game of flex. Nishan made their top laner. It was a Riven player, DC, and we won our first game. Ever since then, we have been locked in. Listen, I think my team is fucking good, and I think we can win it all. And I'm excited for every game against every team because I'm ready to prove it to everybody.
That leads me into my next question. Your final 3 games of the season are up against Qualmless Chillers, which they did lose their week 1, but since then have, I think, inarguably looked like the best team. Rift Sharks, and Metabusters. So, 3 pretty tough opponents. How are you feeling?
New York Nutbusters, but yeah.
Or excuse me, New York Nutbusters. Yeah. What's your prediction there? You don't have to say who you're beating. 3-0, 2-1, 0-3. How's this going to shake out?
Listen, for my team's mental sake, I will not give any predictions.
Crazy.
But I will say, in all of the games, we will lose game 2 and we will win the series.
Real.
I love it. Well, any other questions, Jacob?
No, I thank you for the interview and thank you for putting on an absolutely massively entertaining series. It was just really fun to watch, and congrats on the win.
Thank you. Thank you for the cast. Support our casters.
Thank you for the shout out. Do you have any last remarks for the series, Greer?
Just well played to both teams. Always appreciate getting like a fun, close series, which this definitely was. I think if you're looking for streams to watch, you should have hopefully Qualmless Chillers versus Albert's Infernos. We get a delayed cast because that was going on right now. And then I think the next scheduled series is going to be Rift Sharks versus Albert's Inferno on Monday. So.
No, there should be SKT versus Metabusters tomorrow.
Yeah, Skaven Kill Team versus Metabusters tomorrow. So make sure you tune in for that. That should be a fun one.
I'll try my best.
All right.
Yeah, so congrats to Big Bananas for the win. One Thief looked good, but Big Bananas took it anyway. Thanks, Screwer, for casting with me. And with that, we're going to sign off.